Ball played forward from Stephen Trench into the penalty area, chested down by Danny Hall, picked up here by Adam Boyes towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, gets it back in. Liam Dickinson! Oh, Nicky Bottle! He has put the ball in on the edge of the 6-yard box. Has Nicky Bottle turned this game round and perhaps possibly sent Guiseley through to the Vanarama Conference?
Good afternoon and welcome to Guiseley Radio. You join us at Southport's Merseyrail Community Stadium today for a relegation six-pointer. The Lions have had a frustrating time of late, a mixture of fluctuating form and catastrophic luck, leaving them hovering dangerously only just above the Vanarama National League trapdoor. But 3 points today would go a long way to calming the nerves of Mark Bauer's men. Southport have had problems of their own, of course, haven't registered a home win since the 2nd of January, lost their second manager of the season when Dino Mamria quit just 2 weeks ago, and despite a resurgence following a terrible start, the Sandgrounders are now in serious danger of beaching themselves on the rocky shores of the National League. Consequently, this game's every bit as important to the hosts as it is to the visitors. Can the Lions finally find some form and perhaps more importantly the net, or will it be another long journey home for the Guiseley faithful? Full match commentary from just before 3. Tweet us at Guiseley Radio with your thoughts. National League football doesn't come any bigger than this.
Norburn goes for goal. Oliver Norburn! What a hit! All of 35 yards out. He had the sighter earlier. That is an absolutely stunning strike.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Guiseley Radio. We're here at the Merseyrail Community Stadium. My name's David Kendra. I'm joined this afternoon by Chris Bell, who we'll hear from in just a moment. So this is a relegation six-pointer, and it seems to get bigger every time we talk about it. I think we're up to a relegation 24-pointer at this point. The teams are out warming up on the pitch as we speak. And Chris, how do you feel today's going to go? Give us your take.
It's very tense right now. In terms of trying to predict what's going to happen, you can't, because it would be easy to say, well, Southport haven't won here since the 2nd of January, so on that form we should be able to take something away with us. You know as well as I do, it doesn't work like that for Guiseley. Nothing's ever that simple.
It isn't, and there's plenty of other games going on in the National League today that could also have a big say in what happens to both of these sides today. Earlier today, a 12:45 kickoff at the Shea. Halifax beat Altrincham by a 1-0 despite going down to 10 men in that second half, which puts Halifax now a game in hand over us and 1 point behind. It gets tighter all the time down there, and Southport are in the same boat as us. They're only 2 points ahead of us. We've got a game in hand on them. They're looking over their shoulder all the time now. This is such a tense occasion at the moment, and the people that we've spoken to from Southport as well, they can't call it.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, we got a nice and early today, had a good run over. We've spoken to a few Southport supporters before we came into the ground, and as you say, tension is everywhere, isn't it, between both sets of supporters. Hopefully we won't get that amongst the players, and it'll breed a relatively open, good to watch kind of game. I'm not expecting that, though, if I'm completely honest. I mean, we saw what was a pretty scrappy affair at Nethermore last week against Dover, lost by the 1-0. This pitch, it doesn't look like it's going to adhere itself to the kind of getting the ball down and passing play that Mark likes the boys to do. But it's the same for both sides. At the end of the day, it's a case of who goes out there and adjusts to it. You'd think Southport would, but with their home form, it's not necessarily backing that up.
Well, it's Southport have had a dreadful start to this season, absolutely appalling start to the season. Picked up when they appointed Dino Mamria, who then unexpectedly quit a couple of weeks ago because of travel issues. Also doesn't help, I suspect, that they haven't won at home since winning on the 2nd of January. Yeah,
well, absolutely. I mean, I was reading the notes from the boardroom and the programme here just a few minutes ago, and they cited the fact that Dino Mamria is based down in Stevenage. You kind of think, though, he knows what he's letting himself in for before he takes over, you would think. He knows the travelling involved. It's certainly an interesting situation because, as we say, under Mamria, they rocketed up to 14th, 13th, kind of relatively safe. Recent form obviously hasn't helped, so you do wonder how much of that comes into play. However, in the grand scale of things, they're not in, a couple of wins for Southport and they're back looking at mid-table safety.
Well, I think that's the case for a lot of the clubs around us as well. I mean, we're looking. Ideally over this game and the game against Chester on Monday, we're looking for 6 points, two wins. Touch wood, cross everything, and we're almost there.
Yeah,
with 6 games to go.
We'll be on 47.
So, we'd all be breathing just a little bit easier with 6 points under our belt, if that were possible.
But football doesn't necessarily work like that.
I was thinking about Southport having lost Dino Mamriera. I was thinking, actually, what an achievement that we haven't changed our manager. That we haven't. When you look at the clubs around us that have, Alty have recently parted company with Lee Sinnott, Torquay, just who knows who's in charge there at the moment. Halifax have had 3 managers. Southport are on 3 managers. Those clubs that have chopped and changed their manager this year hasn't really worked for them. It's credit, I think, to Guiseley that we've hung on to and stuck to the plan with Mark Bauer.
Absolutely. I mean, just thinking, actually, Boreham Wood, I'm fairly sure they've had a change of manager as well.
Welling,
earlier on in the season. Welling as well. Everybody, bar us, from 17th down, has, as you say, at least changed manager once, and in some occasions 2 or 3 times. So, yeah, you've got to give the Guiseley board some credit there for sticking with Mark. You've got to give them credit for seeing that, whilst at times form has been basically non-existent from a Guiseley's perspective, they've stuck with him, and we have picked up the results that have kind of, we've never looked. It might be jinxing us here, touching wood. We've never looked up until this point like we were going to get dragged into it. However, this is I apologise in advance.
This is the point of the season where all of that goes out of the window. Yes, I agree. For the most part, we've been hovering just above the real fray of it, but I think we are in it now.
Yeah,
losing against Dover at home on Saturday, that's put us right in the mix, right slap bang in the middle of it.
This is the closest we've been for months. 4 points before, well, as it is 3 points with the early kickoff today.
But so at this
how
point
are your
now,
nerves, folks?
At this point now, it's all about how those players react and how Guiseley, the team, responds as a unit, how they pull together, and we've seen how they can do that. We've seen how when they can pull together as a unit, they can get the results that they need to get. We've seen it against Grimsby, against Tranmere. Now, of course, we have to do it against the teams around us. We have to do it against Southport. We have to do it against Chester. We have to do it against Boreham Wood. These are the teams that we need to be producing a Grimsby level of performance against, and we'll get those points. And eventually, it has to turn. As Mark Bauer said this week, after we spoke to him after the Dover game.
Obviously disappointed to lose. I thought we matched them for. They started well first 5-10 minutes. They got the goal in front, but then for the rest of the game, I thought we matched them. Had a few decent chances, hit the post again. In the second half, had some dangerous moments. Even with 10 men, the ball's in their 6-yard box and it ends up under Dolly Johnson's backside. It just won't go for us. They're a good, strong side. I think we've seen that when we played them in games earlier this season. And then obviously once the red card happens, it makes it more difficult. But even then, like I say, I think we had opportunities in the game. I thought we were very evenly matched, and probably that's the reason why they're in the top half of the table going well, and why we're in the bottom. It just won't go in for us, and we've got to look at ourselves. Why we can't get it in the back of the net. We're getting in enough good positions and enough scoring opportunities, just won't go in for us. I think a bit unfortunate with a goal away. It bounces off the lad's midriff and straight into his path. Finishes it really well, to be fair. I think in Payne they've got the best forward player that I've seen in this league this year. And he finished it really well, showed a true bit of quality on the day. Can't fault the effort of the lads. I thought we deserved more from the game, but business end of the season, we're going to be getting some points on board, and it makes next weekend massive now.
One of the major moments of the game was the second booking for James Hurst. Did you have a view on both of the yellow cards?
I think he's given the referee, the first yellow card's an absolute joke. It's just ridiculous. Persistent fouling, we were told. Well, I could probably add up the number of times that their players have made as many fouls and worse fouls, the 5 in particular, but have not been booked. So why is Hurst being booked for that? I think then, having been booked, he gives the referee an option to send him off, and I think it was poor play from Hurst. I think he's got to do got to be brighter than that and not give the referee. Couldn't get his cards out of his pocket quick enough, mind. But I think he was naive all afternoon. I thought some of the diving that went on, as far as we were told, diving is a bookable offence, simulation or whatever they want to call it. You must have had 7-8 examples of it in this game, and it's not being punished. When persistent fouling is being punished, why is are we picking and choosing what we're punishing for? And some of it was a joke. In the lead up to Hurst's yellow card, there's a foul in midfield that he misses. Payne goes through and just throws himself to the floor. He gives him a free kick. We break down the other end, and you see the frustration in the players. And Hurst has got to be better, but you can see that frustration in his game, and it's ended in the red card. So really disappointed with how our game was refereed today. I thought it was so naive. I think we've got one or two players with reputations for going down easily, shall we say, and he's just fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
It's an afternoon where teams at the bottom have picked up points while we've dropped them. And you talked about the importance of the Easter weekend, actually. What's your thoughts now? How do we set about Southport on Saturday, which is so much more important now, I guess, after this afternoon's result? Yeah,
we'll go to win the game. That's what we've got to do. It's what we've done in the last few weeks. We've had a tough run of fixtures against teams going for promotion. We've got a couple of games over Easter against teams in and around us in the league, so just got to approach it in the same way, be positive, and on the whole play like we have done. I think I can't ask for any more from the lads today. I don't think they made too many mistakes. A little bit poor choice of passing and clearance in the first half invited a little bit of pressure on us, but we've taken two sides, top 5 sides in the last 3 home games: Tranmere, Dover and Grimsby, and I don't think you could make any kind of argument that we deserve to lose any of those games. But it's brutal facts now. We've got to stick the ball in the back of the net and turn some of these at least turn some of these draws into wins, and we'll have a better opportunity obviously next weekend, but the pressure's on to go out and perform and get the results.
The pressure is most indeed on to get some results, and let's hope that the Lions can take that to heart and get themselves a result here today. The teams are in. We'll just rattle through Southport dead quick. John Viscosi, Andre Jones, Mark O'Brien, Josh Thompson, Adam Blakeman, Mike Phoenix, Gary Jones, Liam Nolan, Paul Rutherford. Up front, online striker Johnny Margotts, and scorer from Nethermore, Louis Armand. For the Lions today, Daniel Atkinson continues in goal. At right back, Ryan Toulson. Left back, Ben Parker. Centre backs, Danny Lowe and Rob Atkinson. Holding midfielders, Jake Lawler and Oliver Norburn. Attacking midfielder Will Hatfield. On the right, Ollie Johnson starts his first league game of the season, and on the left, Nicky Boschel. Up front, Adam Boys. Nick, Ollie Johnson starts for the first time since that glorious afternoon in Chorley.
That's great, but I'm not Nick, I'm Chris.
Whoever you are, you there.
Whoever I pretend to be.
Beardy fellow with the glasses. Just
okay, I see where you're
Ollie
going wrong
Johnson.
there, yeah.
This is one coconut for another. It's hello, Nick, if you're listening. Right, Ollie Johnson starts first time since May. We've seen him in. We've seen him in cameos. He's back.
It's great, isn't it? He's looked lively when he's come on. He's tried to make things happen, as Ollie Johnson does.
Is this the right atmosphere for him? I mean, this is going to be a bit of a. We're expecting a bit of a crunching game here on a pitch, which I have to say there are quite a lot of brown patches on that pitch. It's clearly showing a bit of wear and tear from the course of the season. Is this the day to bring in Ollie Johnson from the start?
Surface-wise, perhaps it's not going to suit him because he likes to try and run at players, doesn't he? And he needed generally a good surface to be able to do that from his play. In terms of the potentially crunching challenges that we're expecting to see from what is a relegation 6-pointer,
24-pointer.
That's a 45-point by the end of 90 minutes. It's going to be. I think he's going to be careful, to be honest. He's not going to risk anything, is he? He's not going to go in for these 50-50s, and he can't afford to be honest, for a man in his position where this is his first start of the season, and we're sitting here, end of March. So we're talking 9 months, 10 months almost,
9 months, yeah,
since he was last had a start in a game.
Well, we shall see if Mark Bowers... Is it a gamble? Possibly it's a gamble to start Ollie Johnson this afternoon for the Lions. The teams are coming out to a fine applause from both sets of fans. Before we start this afternoon's proceedings, there will be a 1 minute silence for the victims of the Brussels attacks before we begin. But I will hand you over now to full match commentary from myself and Chris Bell.
Thank you very much, Dave. Yes, the two sets of players coming out here at a very blustery Hague Avenue, or the Merseyrail Community Stadium, as it's more formally known. Very open ground here on the west coast, as we'll go through the two team lineups for you once again, starting with the home side Southport, then as follows: John Viscosi in goal, then Andrew Jones, Mark O'Brien, Josh Thompson and Adam Blakeman make up the back four. Then midfield four of Mike Phoenix, Gary Jones, Liam Nolan and Paul Rutherford. Then two up top in Louis Armand, the goal scorer at Nethermore, got that late equaliser, and Johnny Margetts, who was joined on loan from Tranmere Rovers. The substitutes for Southport: Max Crocombe, Andy Wright, Alex Whittle, Stephen Hewitt and Craig Westcar. For Guiseley, Dan Atkinson starts in goal, then Ryan Toulson, Ben Parker, Danny Lowe, Jake Lawler, Adam Boyes, Will Hatfield, Ollie Johnson, Nicky Boschel, Rob Atkinson and Oliver Norburn. And on the bench, Tom Craddock, Gavin Roderick, Dan Hall, Emil Sinclair and Adam Smith. We'll now have the minute silence to mark the victims of the Brussels attacks. Well observed minute silence here at Hague Avenue. Two captains now, Ben Parker and Gary Jones, going to the centre circle to meet with the referee, who for this afternoon's game is Martin Coy. His assistants Ian Turner and Michael Crusham. Fourth official is Mark Cunliffe. And Dave, how many more points have we got this to? It's a massive game, both sides desperate to win to avoid dropping into that relegation mire.
Well, it's a relegation 62-pointer, Chris, and it is an absolutely vital game for both sides. In all seriousness, both sides really need the points. They'll be looking at these two games today and on Monday to get as many points as possible, to get them on the board and just get them away from that trapdoor.
Absolutely. Well, of course, Guiseley, they welcome Chester to Nethermore on the Bank Holiday Monday, whilst it's an equally important game for Southport as they travel to Altrincham for their game. And we are underway now. The ball at the feet of Jake Lawler as he gets it downfield at the first attempt, long ball forward, which goes all the way through to John Viscosi. As we just try to weigh up formation-wise what we're seeing ahead of us. Is Ollie Johnson in that hole in behind Adam Boyes. Will Hatfield seems to be pulling out onto this right-hand side of Southport. Now get the ball forward, goes through to Dan Atkinson. Just takes a couple of bounces on its way through. I say it's very, very windy here this afternoon.
It's a blustery day. It's coming from it's coming into the faces of the Guiseley players in the first half, the wind, and that might make a difference to the sides how they're playing today.
Well, absolutely. Guiseley in their home kit of white shirts, navy shorts and navy socks, shooting towards the Jack Carr stand to our right hand side. And Southport, the home side, of course, in their home shirt of yellow shirts with a black strip vertically down the left hand side, with black shorts and black socks. And it's Southport who have got the first corner of the game, 1:20 in. Only a poor defensive situation from Guiseley. So the corner will come in. From this left-hand side, it's going to be delivered right-footed. Plenty of yellow shirts inside the Guiseley 6-yard box. As the corner now comes in, right-footed towards the back post. It's been met by a Southport man, fired goal-bound, saved by Dan Atkinson, who managed to get something on it to keep it away.
Real opportunity there for Southport. It wasn't particularly well met by the Guiseley defence, and Dan Atkinson just had the shot go straight into his midriff.
Cross now comes in from Mike Phoenix. Cleared away though by the Lions as they get the ball up to the halfway line. Gary Jones almost gives it to Adam Boyes, but Southport able to retain possession now with Blakeman on this left-hand side. It's the ball into Louis Armand. He tried to play the ball into Rutherford. Rutherford, with a particularly heavy touch though, knocks it out of play for a goal kick.
Blakeman there just trying to take advantage of the fact that Ryan Tulson had pushed up quite high, and as our fullbacks tend to do, they do try to bomb on to do an overlap with the right midfielder. He's trying to lob it over. It just didn't quite come off on that occasion.
So off the back of the Dover result last week, Dave, how important is it for us to see not so much an improvement in the performance, but a chance to get 3 points?
Well, how often do we say it? We need to see a reaction today after a poor performance. We have to break this cycle of one good performance, one bad performance.
Of course, the issue on this occasion, no real time for recovery, obviously, with the game on Monday, at home to Chester. Some games, of course, did take place yesterday. The league kind of split with 6 games yesterday and 6 games today as Guiseley win themselves a free kick. 5-6 yards in front of the centre circle. Just wait for the ball to be retrieved by the Southport keeper Viscosi, and the boy's just giving it back to Nicky Boschel. So it's to the left of the centre circle. And a good chance for Guiseley to get 1 or 2 of the men from the back forward. Southport holding high lines. This free kick comes in from Boschel. It's a poor one though. Headed away by the first Southport defender. But the Guiseley do pick up possession again. Norburn plays it down that left-hand side. Finds Ollie Johnson. Looks to go around the outside of Rutherford. And Ollie Johnson is judged by the referee, Martin Coyne, to have pulled down Paul Rutherford. And you can probably hear the groans from Dave Kendra.
It was a coming together, Chris. It was a coming together. I think Ollie Johnson had beaten him, and the Southport defender leans in and wins a foul. It's a wooden foul rather than an actual foul.
So a free kick it is for Southport. Good travelling numbers from Guiseley. They're in good voice early on in the open terrace to our left-hand side, as we see here in this wonderful main stand here at Hague Avenue. I'm certainly hoping that more of them have brought the brollies with them and so far, because it is raining and it's forecast to get heavier. I do think that I saw some of the guys' vans trying to go around to the opposite end, to the covered terracing, but
the rain has started. It was forecast to be raining all afternoon. It has kicked in, and to our left, the Guiseley fans are gathered in that open terrace behind Dan Atkinson's goal at the moment, and they are taking the brunt of that rain at the moment. So it hasn't dampened their spirits. They are in excellent voice as always.
Just 5.25 minutes gone so far. Southport 0, Guiseley 0. Here from the Merseyrail Community Stadium here in Southport. There's a few of the Southport supporters on that far side opposite us do make their way to the covered terracing. To our right, the Jack Carr stand. Whilst we await John Viscosi to take this goal kick for Southport. Gets it just inside the Guiseley half. Header won by Liam Nolan. Flicked towards Louis Armand, but Guiseley do clear that away. Now Lawler, first time ball forward. Ollie Johnson offside according to the linesman of his near side. Very, very tight though, if he was at all.
Again, I don't agree. Ollie's watching that ball going over his shoulder. It does seem like we may have got the formation slightly wrong. It looks like Hatfield's pulled out to the right hand side, and OJ's playing a little bit more through the centre in this early knock-ins. Yeah,
it certainly seems to be that way as the free kick is taken by Southport. They've got the ball down on the right hand side of the 18-yard box at the feet of Louis Armand. Looks to get past Ben Parker, who gets a challenge in. The ball goes behind for a Southport corner. But it was good play from Southport following that free kick. Southport getting themselves their second corner of the game.
I do worry if that is the case, that Hatfield coming out to the right hand side. I'm not sure that's the best position for him. I think he's been pushed out there to accommodate OJ playing in just behind Boise. We shall see. Hatfield's an energetic player.
All the Southport players, bar two, are inside the 6-yard box. Gary Jones and Armand wait outside as this corner does come in from Southport, high towards the back post. Couple of bounces and off the line, and it's another corner. Danny Lowe, he's protesting that it didn't touch him, but certainly seemed to from our angle up here.
It's sort of like he might have slipped off his knee as he was trying to get out of the way, but the inquisition between the Guiseley defence starting there. A free header allowed in the penalty area to get that ball back across.
Effectively 3 free headers when you think of the touches it took on its way through. Another corner it is for Southport. 7.5 minutes gone here on Guiseley Radio. Southport 0, Guiseley 0, but the Sandgrounders with this corner delivered, left-footed, up towards the back post again, met by a Southport head. Ben Parker there to nod it only out as far as Armand on the edge of the penalty area, and then good work from Nicky Boschel, gets that away down the left-hand side. The ball knocked back by a Southport defender to Viscosi. Adam Boyce trying to give chase, but was blocked off by Josh Thompson. And the ball from Viscosi goes all the way through with one touch from a Southport man through to Dan Atkinson, who continues, Dave, his running goal.
He's done very little wrong, I think, in the games that he's played. He's actually proved himself a good shot stopper, commands his area well, and he can distribute the ball quite well as well.
This ball sent out to the left-hand side towards Nicky Boschel, but Southport are able to clear that away. Forward again, this time by Gary Jones. Rob Atkinson gets it well. Jones, good touch though for the home side. Get the ball down this right-hand side as they look to attack. Daniel Lowe does well, comes across, puts it out for a throw. Takes very much the safety first approach as the throw-in's taken. Now Armand again. The ball falls back to Thompson.
Again, very much Southport in the ascendancy in these early stages. The Lions just seem to be dropping back and letting Southport come at them in this at the beginning of this game.
Southport now look to get a crossing which goes across the 18-yard box and behind for a Guiseley goal kick. Don't forget you can get in touch with us here on Guiseley Radio. Tweet us at Guiseley Radio is the Twitter handle you need to get in touch. As you can probably hear a number of Guiseley fans in this main stand to our left-hand side that we didn't spot them earlier, to be fair.
They've literally just burst into song.
I do believe there was 2 coaches that have made the not too long trip from West Yorkshire, being followed in good numbers today for what is a vital game. There's Ben Parker who's caught in possession over on that right-hand side. Now Margetts. Ball looking for Armand. Intercepted well though by Oliver Norburn. Now Parker finds Lawler, but that's a poor touch from Jake Lawler. He's giving that away to Rutherford. Now Gary Jones inside the centre of the Guiseley half. The ball played to the right-hand side. The right-hand side cross comes in, hits Ben Parker and goes out for a throw-in on that far side. It was Mike Phoenix who was looking to get the cross in, but it was closed down well by Parker. Southport, for me, certainly the better side so far in this opening 10 minutes or so. They've put Guiseley under a lot of pressure. They've now got a throw-in 8 yards up from the corner flag. Throw-in taken at the feet of Phoenix. Played back out. The cross comes in. And a good chance for Johnny Margetts, who heads both high and wide. But he was basically gifted a free header as he lost Ryan Toulson at the back post, and a really good opportunity there for Southport to get ahead.
Again, though, the Guiseley left, he's not closed down very quickly. He's allowed time and space to put the ball in, and Margetts is stretching a little bit for the header, and it just slips off the top of his head and over the bar. But that was a real opportunity for Southport.
The man that joined this week on loan here at Southport from Tranmere Rovers. Ben Parker now nods that away. Ollie Johnson flicks it on. Unable to pick out a white shirt though, as Southport pick up possession again and come forward over the halfway line. Here's Phoenix, the former Barnsley and Telford player. Now the ball on his left-hand side with Rutherford. There was a good ball in. Finds Margits down the blue spot. Picked up by Nolan. Spun back towards Margits. It comes across to the right-hand side. Looking for Phoenix. And both Phoenix and Margits got themselves caught in two minds. Rutherford, though, still Southport keep on this pressure. Down the left-hand side. Rutherford plays a low ball in. Goes through the legs of Jake Lawler. Cleared away by Rob Atkinson. Again, not really that far, though, as Nolan looks to get it forward.
Just going back
Hatfield
a minute
comes
there.
across.
Sorry, Chris. Just going back a minute there. Phoenix, I think, saw the glory. The ball was played across to him. He had all the time in the world. He had about half an hour to hit that ball, but he just rushed it. He tried to hit it on the turn. He didn't make the contact that he would have wanted. Again, Guiseley get away with one.
Yeah, they're certainly starting to be caught in two minds as that opportunity arose for the home side. Now Guiseley look to get down the right-hand side through Hatfield. Cleared away by Blakeman. Here's Hatfield again. Hits Blakeman on the hands, but to be fair, he was putting them up to shield his face. As the ball goes out of play off him for a throw, which Mark Bauer drives the ball on his jacket before giving it to Ryan Toulson with some instructions. Toulson now with the throw. Long one, down the line, finds Johnson. Johnson's touching field, finds Hatfield. He runs into a little bit of trouble, though, as a free kick goes against Southport.
It's a bit of a touch. I think Hatfield possibly felt it and realised he wasn't going to win the ball and went down, but he won it. It was another one that was won.
As the rain comes down much heavier. 13 minutes gone. Still goalless here at Hago and U. Southport 0, Guiseley 0. Nicky Boschel will take this free kick, which is 89 yards from this near touchline. On the right-hand channel as Guiseley attack, the free kick will be taken by Boschel. Left-footed, a good ball in, much better than the previous one. Headed across goal by Southport. Now Ollie Johnson with the ball at his feet inside the penalty area. Goes down, slips. The ball still in Guiseley possession, though, with Danny Lowe. It's being forced into trouble, though. Plays a good low ball into Hatfield, who's been shielded off very well, to be fair, by Mike Phoenix. And the attack breaks down for Guiseley. But that's the most time I think we've spent in the opposition third in this opening 14 minutes.
It was a decent ball in, and it was almost met by a Guiseley head. The rain really is lashing down now. A lot of the fans trying to make their way to the covered areas. So it's coming down in stair rods now.
Well, as we say, it was forecast, but we were starting to think we got away with it up until kick-off. Guiseley.
Big hello to Philip Crimes at Evergreen Shadow. Shadow's busy working this afternoon, but listening in for Guiseley Seaside victory. And it's about time Guiseley Radio delivered one. Well, we'll do our best for you.
Got a free kick now for Guiseley. Just a couple of yards inside the Guiseley half. Very much on this right-hand side in front of a dugout. Ryan Toulson will take this free kick. It's been brought down by a Southport player. Almost gave it to Nicky Boschel, who tried to turn and get away. But it's been put out for another throw by the home side on that far side.
Guiseley playing into the rain here. It's coming almost horizontally across the ground.
Here's Parker. That's the low ball into Boschel. Liam Nolan does well though, steps across before clearing it out of play for another Guiseley throw. Get in touch with us at Guiseley Radio is what you have to use. Send us your thoughts and opinions on today's game, on Guiseley's season overall, any other Guiseley related talking points, and we'll get them read out on for you. As they throw in from Guiseley, was touched back to Parker by Ollie Johnson. It goes out of play.
Other scores in the National League here. Grimsby are a goal to the good against Wrexham, and Woking are 1-0 up against Kidderminster.
Throw-in taken by Southport. They look to get this ball down the left-hand side. Rob Atkinson safely nods the ball forward back to Dan Atkinson. And finally, a number of the Guiseley fans are heading for cover. However, there is one man who's taking this opportunity to get a free shower, basically, and is taking his top off. He must be mad.
He's from Yorkshire.
The Guiseley fans in very good voice. 16 minutes gone, still goalless. There's still yet to see a real opportunity for the Lions. As the ball's headed forward, looking to find Ollie Johnson. Now Gary Jones, though, picks up a loose ball in the centre of the Southport half. Rob Atkinson comes forward, stoops, gets the ball only as far as Gary Jones. Rob Atkinson goes to the sliding challenge and gives away a free kick for a foul on Louis Armand. It's certainly a sliding challenge weather, but he didn't get that one right.
Yeah, he just slightly mistimed that. I don't know if there was any malice in it. He was trying to win the ball, but just slightly mistimed it. Maybe the ground a bit slipperier than he was anticipating. It was a free kick, but it's a free kick in a dangerous position here.
It is. It's 15 yards or so inside the Guiseley half from the halfway line. Fairly central as well. Free kick is going to be taken left-footed. Plenty of yellow shirts again. Forward on the edge of the 18-yard box as Guiseley tries to play high line. The free kick played low, straight into goal. And Dan Atkinson gets his body behind it.
It's not that bad an effort actually in this weather on this pitch, with the rain right into Dan Atkinson's eyes. It could have slipped across the pitch.
Well, the clearance by Guiseley goes out of play for a Southport throw on this near side. Adam Blakeman is going to take it. Where he decides where he needs to take it from. Just in front of the home dugout. Ball sent forward. Atkinson gets his boot through it, clears that away. Up to Adam Boys. Boys can't get much more than a glancing touch on it. And Southport recover possession as Louis Armand looks to get the ball forward for Margotts. But it rolls through, or bounces through rather, to Dan Atkinson. Atkinson now, downfield. Doesn't pick out a white shirt though. We'll see if we can get a picture of this because this is rather extraordinary weather from that we're having here. We will try and get a picture on the Guiseley Radio Twitter account, if not now, through till half time. As Guiseley get a decision going against them. Fairly sure they should have had a corner as Ollie Johnson protests that it should be. But the referee says it's just a goal kick. It's John Viscosi who'll run out of his area, pick up the ball and get ready to take. 90 minutes gone, Dave. And so far, I think the rain has been more interesting than the game.
And conditions worsening as well. The rain is starting to gather on the pitch. You can see it around the penalty area. Those brown patches that we saw at the beginning of the day certainly starting to glisten more. This is going to be a very soggy pitch by the end of this game.
Oliver Norburn lifts the ball forward, picked out though by a Southport man. Lawler goes up for an aerial challenge with Louis Armand, comes out on top as Norburn picks up a loose ball, but he runs a little bit almost into trouble. Danny Lowe though recovers the ball well. Atkinson now sending it forward. Hatfield challenges with Blakeman in the air, and Blakeman goes down, claims there was an arm used, and that's incensed the Southport bench. And Will Hatfield is being called over by the referee. It was two players going up for it together. And the referee, as I say, is calling over Will Hatfield, and I think he's going to get a booking. As Ben Parker, the Guiseley captain, comes across with him. It is just going to be a yellow card. Of course, the referee in touch with the assistants via microphones and earpieces. He certainly seemed to take on board what his assistant on this near side was saying. And as I say, Martin Coy's decision is to just award a yellow card to Will Hatfield.
Well, it was a coming together by the looks of it, and Hatfield certainly doesn't look particularly happy about it. The Southport bench leapt to their feet in anger at the initial challenge, and the Southport player still down, receiving treatment. I don't believe there was any malice in it.
As you say, Andy Bishop was very quick to get to his feet. The recently appointed caretaker manager here at Southport. Combination of Andy Bishop, the experienced former league striker, of course. Bagged a hell of a lot of goals for Bury in his days. Just 34 years of age, and him and the Southport captain Gary Jones, of course, a name very familiar to our region in particular. A management duo with Gary Jones taking charge of the stuff on the pitch as captain as well. Well, Blakeman is coming off this near side. He's been receiving a little bit of treatment. He's going to be okay to return to action. As John Viscosi now has the ball at his feet, ready to take this free kick. 22 minutes gone. Still goalless here at Southport. As Viscosi sends the ball down the left-hand side. Ryan Toulson gets his first header onto it. And Lawler. And now Norburn with the ball at his feet. Plays it now to Toulson. First time ball forward, being put under a bit of pressure by Paul Rutherford. Southport pick up possession in their half and they look to get it forward. Ben Parker just nods it down into Norburn, who's closed down, sends it back to Dan Atkinson. Now Lawler, now Norburn. Southport closing down quickly though in this opening 26 minutes. We've got 22 and a half gone. As Guiseley now look to get forward, and Adam Boyes forces Mark O'Brien to put the ball out for a throw-in in a decent area, which Ryan Toulson, unsurprisingly, will come forward to take. Can he get the long throw? Can Guiseley get themselves into the lead? He said he ups to go for a short one. Plays the 1-2 with Will Hatfield. Now Ollie Johnson on the angle and corner of the 18-yard box, but Southport dispossess him. And now the ball comes forward with Southport down this left-hand side. Louis Armand it is. Down this left-hand side. Gets into the 18-yard box. Almost gets the ball tangled in his feet, though. And that allows Guiseley to pick up possession and come forward themselves through Will Hatfield. Low ball into the feet of Johnson. Back to Hatfield on his near side. Lawler, first time ball forward. Great ball it is as well into Ollie Johnson. He can't get himself around Mark O'Brien, though. But the ball does go behind for a corner. Following a good little run and touch from Ollie Johnson. Mark O'Brien forced to put the ball behind.
Yeah, they just got a bit bogged down in that midfield again. Just weren't quite as direct as possible, but they've managed to find a through ball to Ollie Johnson. And again, Ollie Johnson, just in these conditions, the ball gets just stuck under his feet, but he does well to win a corner.
That's going to be Nicky Boschel to take the corner for Guiseley. A very high one up towards the back post. Headed away. Half away anyway by Southport as the low ball is put back in. This ball now with Hatfield. Hatfield goes for goal. And it's just about palmed away by John Viscosi for a corner.
Really good effort from Hatfield then. It came out to him on the edge of the D. He takes a touch, he shoots, it's high, and Viscosi's stretching to touch that away from his crossbar.
A really decent effort that from Will Hatfield. Fairly central. The goalkeeper had to get something onto it though. It certainly seemed at the very least he would have clipped the underside of the crossbar and dropped in. But Guiseley with a corner now from the left, which Oliver Norburn will deliver, right-footed. Again, plenty of players there. It hits a Guiseley man, bounces away. Not cleared though by Southport, as Will Hatfield will chase this and watch as the ball goes out for a Guiseley throw. Suddenly the Lions have burst into life in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's been a very good couple of minutes. Really just putting the pressure on and just closing down. Southport do concede goals, and they've not been strong defensively, and a bit of pressure and they might just crack, especially in these conditions.
Ryan Toulson will this time take a long throw. Not as long as we've seen though, but the ball headed back from Blakeman, back out of play to Toulson, but his touch lets him down and the ball goes out for a Southport throw. And as you say, Southport in their last home game were 3-0 up against Welling with 15 to go, ended up drawing 3 apiece.
Well, it's an extraordinary scoreline there, but it does betray defensive frailties of Southport's, which have been kind of evident all season by the amount of games that they've lost.
Well, it's fair to say that what was a good number of Guiseley fans that had braved the open terracing, that's now remained to 6. 6 hardy Guiseley supporters out there braving the elements.
Distinctly soggy looking Guiseley supporters. Even your man's put his shirt back on. I mean, it really is. It is stair rods, and there are little puddles forming across this pitch.
We've only got 26 minutes on the clock. Guiseley with a free kick on the edge of the centre circle inside the Lions half.
We should have brought an umbrella because the roof is leaking a little bit.
Above us here in the press box of this old main stand. This ball flicked on by Ollie Johnson down that left-hand side, but the offside flag goes up against him. I mean, we were speaking to some of our colleagues from the other journalists and media here, and you know, as a stadium, it's a cracking little ground, but it hasn't changed much over the years.
No, well, they were saying it was sort of improved in the 60s and it hasn't changed ever since, and you can tell. You know, but it's that
Back
said,
then,
it's a
of
lovely
course,
ground.
a former league side.
Well, yeah, they were a good league side at one point, and but it is a nice stand. There's two covered stands, one behind the goal and the one that we're in at the moment. There's two uncovered sides. It's proper terracing. It is by anyone's standards a proper football ground.
Guiseley in possession. As soon as I say that, they give it away to Gary Jones. Now Blakeman, first time ball forward down the left, but he skewed it horribly out of play for a Guiseley throw-in.
It doesn't lend itself to a particularly pretty football game. These conditions. I mean, the players have got, you know, water in their eyes. The ground is slipping beneath them.
I mean, you can see
It's
now,
gonna
can't
get
you? If
scrappy.
you look directly that diagonal under that floodlight there's a lot of water on the surface, as we said earlier, in the slightly brown bare patches.
Yeah,
But it is forming puddles.
there's a distinct puddle forming just a couple of yards outside the Southport penalty area.
Free kick now for Southport. Taking on this left-hand side. It's bent right across that far side, looking to find Josh Thompson. But Guiseley do well in dispossessing him. As Lawler now sends it down that left-hand side. Ollie Johnson give it a little bit of chase to Android Jones. He clears it downfield. Southport do well, though, to maintain possession as Gary Jones looks to play the ball out to this left-hand side, where Louis Armand has pulled wide from his striker position, gives it back to Blakeman. Southport looking to play the ball along the ground. Easier said than done in these conditions, but they've done it well over the last couple of minutes until Gary Jones plays the ball down the line a little bit too close to the line, which rolls out of play for a Lions throw. I would not want to be any of those 6 Guiseley fans behind that goal, although by what we've seen, the rain's easing off slightly, Dave.
Yeah, it is due to rain all afternoon. But yeah, they're a hardy bunch, Guiseley fans.
Oh, and the ball's been given away, and Rutherford it was who just picked up the loose ball a couple of yards outside the box. He made his way into it, got the shot off with his right foot, didn't really do enough to put Dan Atkinson under too much pressure. And he does well. He then gets the ball downfield. Ollie Johnson wins the header, gets the flick on, puts Blakeman into a little bit of pressure as Hatfield closes him down. The ball's put out for a Guiseley throw.
And that's where Guiseley are going to get some joy out of this game. Again, I keep going back to the conditions, but it's playing such a massive part at the moment. It's closing those Southport defenders down, forcing them into clearances, forcing them to play balls they wouldn't necessarily otherwise play, because the opportunity is there for players to make a mistake, to miscue a clearance, to hand an opportunity to the Lions.
Throwing now for Guiseley, 10 yards up from that corner flag. Long throw taken by Toulson, flicked on into the area by Ollie Johnson. Half cleared away as Hatfield gets a half volley on it, sends it towards goal, but just a couple of yards wide of the upright. So it'll be a goal kick for Southport.
Just an awkward height for Hatfield as it came to him, and it came to him a little bit quicker than he was expecting. Norburn did well to win the header, to nod it down to him, but Hatfield's hitting it on the turn, on the half volley. I mean, it would have been a magnificent goal, but he just couldn't quite get the power or the accuracy on it, and it slotted wide. But again, you know, a good ball in, a decent ball in, contested by those midfielders, and the opportunities are there for the Lions.
Half an hour gone here at the Merseyrail Community Stadium. Southport 0, Guiseley 0. Do get in touch with us here on Guiseley Radio, your commentary team this afternoon, and myself, Chris Bell. Alongside me is Dave Kendra. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at Guiseley Radio. Let us know your thoughts and views on this afternoon's proceedings as Blakeman takes a throw, hooked in field by Margate. Nicky Boschel does well and comes across. Just punts that out of play. Are you keeping dry, Dave?
Just about.
Same can't be said for Collins' team sheet.
Well, what we've got is a rather makeshift protection system around our plugs and computer. I've had to take my hat off to protect the laptop.
It's worth it, Dave. It's more important. A free kick goes against Guiseley. Dead centre. 5 or 6 yards inside the Guiseley. 5 or 6 yards up from the centre circle inside the Guiseley half. Gary Jones is currently the only man that stood over this. You are talking a good 35 yards out, if not more.
It's a little far for an effort, I would have thought, but a ball into the box is entirely likely. There's a lot of Southport players lining up on the edge of the Guiseley box there. Guiseley are going to have to be on their game here to stop Southport.
It is Gary Jones who takes free kick, goes for goal, palmed away by Dan Atkinson. We said it was a long way out, but he certainly fancied the effort there in these wet conditions as Gary Jones earns Southport a corner.
Again, well, what do I know? It's a decent effort, but Atkinson saw it all the way and just palmed it wide.
So a corner it is going to be for Southport on this near side. The corner taken by Rutherford. They've looked dangerous beforehand. It's a free header which goes over the top of the crossbar from Mike Phoenix.
Again, though, Phoenix allowed to run into the area unopposed and get that header. He was just leaning backwards when he took the header, so it was always going to go over, but my goodness.
Well, we're going to see a substitution. It's Alex Whittle, the number 3. And it's Adam Blakeman who is going off. So Blakeman off and Alex Whittle on. After just 33 minutes, presumably following, of course, the clash between Will Hatfield and Blakeman. Blakeman did go off, receive a little bit of treatment, came back on. It looked okay. But clearly the Southport bench opting not to take their chances. As Guiseley now look to pick up the ball. Will Hatfield, his first clash with Alex Whittle. Light for light change for Southport. Left back for left back. As Whittle gets it downfield. Good touch from Louis Armand. Plays in Gary Jones. Jones looks to get the ball into Margotts. But it rolls through. Dan Atkinson behind it to claim that one.
Yeah, good little passage of play there from Southport, but just a slightly overhit final ball, and Atkinson is easy. It's easy for him to collect.
Southport looking to get the ball forward now. Down low, does well, goes up, wins possession back now for the Lions. His ball sent down that left hand side by Ben Parker. Here's Parker again. Infield to Ollie Johnson. Good play. Johnson can't get away that easily though from a Southport man. The ball takes a couple of ricochets before the ball goes out of play, and the referee gives the goal kick to Southport.
The ideas are there for the Lions. They're trying to move the ball around, and they're trying to sort of play nice neat little triangles around the Southport defence, but just the touch isn't quite there. It's either overhit or underhit.
A combination of the touch, the surface perhaps, and everything.
I mean, it's a tough one to pull off on this ever increasingly wet surface. The water is splashing up every time the ball hits the ground, and Oliver Norburn just got a puddle right up his right short leg when he was running for one of the balls there. So yeah, it is soggy out there.
Ball in the hands of Matt Barrows. He dries it off again, gives it to Ryan Toulson. Take a throw in just in front of the Guiseley dugout. The ball out of play again by the head of Liam Nolan. Couple of just to take you through the scores, of course, in the other Vanarama National League games. In the early kick-off, Halifax beat Altrincham by a solitary goal to 0, despite Halifax being reduced to 10 men. As guys now look to come forward. Southport pick up possession. Lawler does well, gets in a good challenge, but the ball goes out of play. Well, for me, I thought that went out of play off or from Jake Lawler's tackle. The referee has given the throw-in in Guiseley's favour, much to the displeasure of the home support.
You win some, you lose some.
Now low. Ball forward. Boschel wins the flick on. He's been marked well and tightly by Andre Jones. who goes down in a bit of a heat, but the loose ball is being picked up now by Southport on the edge of the Guiseley 18-yard box. Here's Margaret, goes for goal, and Margaret scores. The debutant gives the home side the lead. And it all came from a lack of being able to clear the ball away by Guiseley as the loose ball was picked up by Armand. He threads it into Margaret's, and the debutant on loan from Tranmere, Johnny Margaret's, opens the scoring for the home side. Southport 1, Guiseley 0.
Simple ball over the top, not dealt with by Rob Atkinson. He had all the time in the world to head that back to Dan Atkinson, and why on earth he would think it would be a good idea to try and head it across to Danny Lowe, who's completely wrong-footed, and Johnny Margaret has all the time in the world to slam a shot into the top corner there. Just a simple mistake. That's another mistake that's led to a goal, that we are the architects of our own downfall again.
Yeah, how many times have we said that over the course of the season? Guiseley have to come from behind if they're to get anything out of this game. Elsewhere, Dover have just taken the lead against Torquay.
Today's golden goal is 36 minutes, 30 seconds.
36 minutes.
30 seconds.
And as we say, Dave, it just completely came out of nothing.
Well, it was such a simple ball. It was the simplest thing. And 99 times out of 100, Rob Atkinson nods that back to Dan Atkinson, and there's absolutely no danger there. But he's just caught in two minds. He tries to head it across to Danny Lowe for some reason. Danny Lowe's not expecting it, because Danny Lowe, like every other Guiseley fan in this ground, is expecting it to go back to the keeper. And then, well, the rest is history. I can tell you in the National League North, the Fylde game has just been postponed. One would assume...
Abandoned, perhaps?
Abandoned, I beg your pardon, but presumably for very similar pitch conditions to these.
That'll be deeply frustrating for Bradford Park Avenue, of course, who've travelled to Fylde today. These guys who now look to get themselves back level in this game, with Will Hatfield challenging up against Alex Whittle. Whittle does well to stop the ball going out for a throw, but he does concede. To stop the ball going out for a corner. Does concede a throw in instead. Ryan Toulson will come forward again. As yet, his long throws have only barely troubled.
Oh, the referee being a bit pernickety here about where Ryan Toulson takes this throw in.
Absolutely.
He's not been bothered about any other throw in.
He's not been close enough to the corner flag, it seems, on this occasion, as the ball goes behind for a corner for Guiseley. 39 gone as the Lions look to find a way back into this game.
Well, Chester are 1-0 up at home to Barrow, which is not the best of scorelines for the Lions.
Corner taken by Nicky Boschel, again up towards the back post. Headed away, though, by Southport, and then further cleared by Louis Armand. Now Ben Parker has the ball at his feet. He sends that back to Dan Atkinson. Sensibly takes the first touch before looking to clear it downfield.
Come on, Dan, you're overthinking it.
Though, as Dan Atkinson did take a few seconds, perhaps a few seconds too many, to decide where he wanted to put that. Cleared away by Southport. Ball returned forward, though, by Guiseley. And now Norburn tries to step between the puddles. Johnson lays it through to Hatfield. Hatfield now Norburn on this left-hand side. Good 1-2 with Nicky Boschel. The ball returned to Boschel. Boschel gets the cross in into the 6-yard box, but the ball goes straight into the hands of the Southport keeper.
Better from the Lions there, just to hold on to the ball, just to try and create something, and the final ball straight into the midriff of the keeper, but better. Just need a bit more of this, bit more urgency. Get up and go. Why do we have to wait until we're 1-0 down to get up and go? We should have been gone by now.
This ball given away cheaply by guys in the centre of the park to Gary Jones. He sends the ball back to Viscosi. It's a poor clearance, though, from Viscosi, and that allows Hatfield to get it forward. Now the ball with Boys. Hatfield again on the edge of the 18-yard box, slips through to Ollie Johnson, who's absolutely wiped out. And he goes down in a heap, and he's hurt as Nicky Boschel urgently appeals to the Guiseley dugout for Martin Stringofellow, the physio, to come on.
Well,
Well,
that all
Ollie
happened very
Johnson
quickly.
was-
A scuffed clearance from the keeper, and Hatfield wins the ball back and plays it in. And OJ's stretching for that ball there.
He was wiped
And
out.
he was just absolutely clattered by the Southport defender there. And he's still down. He's still down. It did look like the Southport defender might have got the ball, but he's taken OJ out with him. Yeah.
And we were
You
talking
hope-
before,
yeah,
weren't
well-
we, regarding the likelihood of this situation.
He's not got up, OJ. He's still down. He's on the edge of the 6-yard box. He's got 2 physios around him. You don't want to think it, but you worry.
It was more the, dare I say, the panicked cries from Nicky Boschel of getting the physio on as quickly as possible.
I mean, it was a fearsome challenge. If there's good news to be had, it's OJ's up on his haunches now. But you hope that was just
well, we'll
that
take
no permanent damage
this
has been done. But you
opportunity
hope
to have a quick look at the subs bench. And there are creative attacking options, it has to be said, on the guys' bench. Tom Craddock, Gavin Rothery, Danny Hall, Emil Sinclair, and a return for Adam Smith as well. But Ollie Johnson is back on his feet. And for a man who's playing his first start since the playoff final in May,
he's not moving particularly easily, is he? You hope he can run that off.
well, he's got a slight limp as he comes off with Martin Stringfellow. The goalkeeper, the referee gives John Viscosi the ball to kick back. Ollie Johnson does come off to this near side, but it looks like he is going to return to the play. We've got just a couple of minutes or so plus added time as Ollie Johnson does jog back on a little gingerly, but he'll be no doubt seeing how he can cope for the remainder of this half. The ball back in play though now as Southport look to come down the right hand side, crossed in, cleared away by Jake Lawler. Now Norburn picked up though instead by Southport as the shot comes in.
Again.
It was Andre Jones, the right back, who came forward there, got the edge of the box, got the shot off, pulled it across goal. Thankfully, a little bit wide. But another good opportunity comes for Southport. The kind of opportunity, Dave, that Guiseley haven't really had in this game.
No, they haven't, because they haven't had the time and the space that Southport are getting as they make their attacks. Southport are doing well and closing down quickly. It's not all bad news out there, Chris. Dover, they're winning 3-0 against Torquay. Small, tiny Merseys.
Throwing now for Toulson, flicked on by Boys. Loose ball, picked up by Oliver Norburn. 25 yards out, goes infield, looks to thread the ball over to that left-hand side. Ollie Johnson will give chase, but it's been cleared away.
Of all the players to have the ball in space on the edge of the D and not shoot, you wouldn't expect Oliver Norburn to do
I was
that.
expecting him to go with his left foot then and have a crack.
You're just waiting for
But
him.
he
It
didn't
just looked
fancy
like
it,
he was almost about to pull the trigger and then played a ball to sort of no one, really.
And in these kind of weather conditions as well, this is the time when you need to be testing the goalkeeper. As we just about hit the 45, as we see the referee's assistant on this near side pick up the board.
2 minutes.
Just the 2 minutes of additional time. A little bit surprising given the stoppage we had for Adam Blakeman earlier on, and then just a couple of moments ago for Ollie Johnson. Although he probably doesn't want to be out there as long as he has to.
Get in, get a brew.
Throw in taken by Southport. They've worked the ball into the penalty area. Good challenge comes in from Rob Atkinson. But Guiseley dally on the ball again and are closed down quickly by the home side. So they get the ball forward again. Ryan Toulson now puts his head through it. Look to find Norburn, but it's a loose ball. And here's Phoenix. Now Lawler looks to come across, but Phoenix still in possession for Southport. Poor touch there, though, from Liam Nolan. Gives the ball away. Ollie Johnson he wanted the ball into his feet. The ball was overhit by Boschel. It's gone all the way through to Viscosi. I do think, for what it's worth, that Ollie Johnson would have probably been caught offside had the ball have gone into him. Well, the Guiseley supporters have been in good voice in this first half, but sadly, they've had very little to shout about.
Very, very little indeed. And, you know, there comes a point where you think, well, what do you do?
Ball forward now from Riscosi. Atkinson heads it away. Now Toulson. Oh, well, he got very lucky. He looked to just place that forward. Skews off his foot, back over himself into the 18-yard box. And thankfully, both Danny Lowe and Dan Atkinson were alive to that.
Misread the flight of the ball there. He's very lucky to just pop up to the head of Danny Lowe, who just nodded it back to the keeper.
Throwing taken on that far side by Guiseley. Ben Parker looks to get it forward. Now Boschel. Ball into the feet of Ollie Johnson on the edge of the 18-yard box. Goes down. Referee says nothing doing with that. Allows play to continue with Rob Atkinson. Well, where do you start
Atkinson,
there?
Calamitous.
Calamitous.
What's he done there? But he's got the ball, edge of the centre circle. It's quite simple. He's just got to play it one to the left or to the right, probably to his left. He plays it straight, and I mean straight, to the feet of a Southport player,
who he then has to wipe out. It was Louis Armand.
Otherwise, it would have been away.
Louis Armand, it was.
So Atkinson's on a booking.
He was clattered, and as you say, Rob Atkinson goes into the book. So who's that so far? Both Will Hatfield and Rob Atkinson are on yellow cards for the Lions. And Southport have got a free kick, 4 or 5 yards inside the Guiseley half, taken right-footed up towards this back post where Thompson far too easily heads that across towards Mike Phoenix. Thankfully, Phoenix couldn't do much with it. And there we go. Martin Coy blows the half-time whistle here at Haig Avenue at the Merseyrail Community Stadium. It's been a pretty poor first half by all accounts for the Lions. And at half-time, it's Southport 1, Guiseley 0. Very disappointing first half, Dave. How do you assess that, apart from disappointing?
Well, disappointing and wet are the two key words for that first half. It has been not a classic Guiseley performance. They need to light a fire under it, really, because this league is starting to slip away from them. And the fact that we started so slowly as well. Again, you know, we've got everything to play for here. We've got every opportunity to come to this ground, to come to play Southport, a team who are also struggling on a chronic run of form, and come and really put some pressure on them. And the players that we've got, your Nicky Boschel, your Oliver Norburn, your Will Hatfield, your Ollie Johnson starting today, they seem quite. They seem a bit reluctant to get stuck in, a bit reluctant to get involved. And so Southport are having so much time on the ball going forward and so much opportunity. The amount of times they've had a ball put into the box, the amount of times they've had a free header in the box as well.
Nobody's awake.
Just nobody seems to. I mean, they all seem to be a bit. It's wet and cold out. You know, it is disappointing. Is not sufficient a phrase for this Guiseley side performance this morning. It is woeful. Another word I would use, Chris, whoever you are, unacceptable.
Yeah, I completely agree. It has been a performance leaving a lot to be desired from Guiseley in this first half. Myself and Dave, we're going to pop off and grab a quick cup of tea. We'll leave you with the interview from Mark after the 1-0 defeat at Dover, and hope for a much better second half.
Obviously disappointed to lose. You know, I thought we matched them for. They started well first 5-10 minutes. They got the goal in front, but then for the rest of the game, I thought we matched them. Had a few decent chances, hit the post again. In the second half, you know, had some dangerous moments. Even with 10 men, you know, the ball's in their 6-yard box and it ends up under Ollie Johnson's backside. It just won't go for us. You know, they're a good, strong side. I think, you know, we've seen that when we played them in games earlier this season. And then, you know, obviously once the red card happens, it makes it more difficult. But even then, like I say, I think we had opportunities in the game. I thought we were very evenly matched, and probably that's the reason why they're, you know, in the top half of the table going well, and why we're in the bottom, it just won't go in for us. And, you know, we've got to look at ourselves. You know, why we can't get it in the back of the net. We're getting in enough good positions and enough scoring opportunities, just won't go in for us. I think a bit unfortunate with a goal away. It bounces off the lad's midriff and straight into his path. finishes it really well, to be fair. I think in pain they've got the best forward play that I've seen in this league this year. And he finished it really well, showed the true bit of quality on the day. Can't fault the effort of the lads. I thought we deserved more from the game, but business end of the season, we've got to be getting some points on board, and it makes next weekend massive now.
One of the major moments of the game was the second booking for James Hurst. Did you have a view on both of the yellow cards?
I think he's given the referee, and the first yellow card's an absolute joke. It's just ridiculous. Persistent fouling, we were told. Well, I could probably add up the number of times that their players have made as many fouls, the 5 in particular, but have not been booked. So why is Hurst being booked for that? I think then, having been booked, he gives the referee an option to send him off, and I think it was poor play from Hurst. I think he's got to do got to be brighter than that and not give the referee. Couldn't get his cards out of his pocket quick enough, mind. But I think he was naive all afternoon. I thought some of the diving that went on, as far as we were told, diving is a bookable offence, simulation or whatever they want to call it. You must have had 7-8 examples of it in this game, and it's not being punished. When persistent fouling is being punished, why is are we picking and choosing what we're punishing for? And some of it was a joke. In the lead up to Hurst's yellow card, there's a foul in midfield that he misses. Payne goes through and just throws himself to the floor. He gives him a free kick. We break down the other end, and you see the frustration in the players. And Hursty's got to be better, but you can see that frustration in his game, and it's ended in the red card. So really disappointed with how the game was refereed today. I thought it was so naive. I think we've got one or two players with reputations for going down easily, shall we say, and he's just fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
It's an afternoon where teams at the bottom have picked up points while we've dropped them. And you talked about the importance of the Easter weekend, actually. What's your thoughts now? How do we set about Southport on Saturday, which is so much more important now, I guess, after this afternoon's result? Yeah,
we'll go to win the game. That's what we've got to do. It's what we've done in the last few weeks. We've had a tough run of fixtures against teams going for promotion. We've got a couple of games over Easter against teams in and around us in the league, so we've just got to approach it in the same way, be positive, and on the whole play like we have done. I think I can't ask for any more from the lads today. I don't think they made too many mistakes. A little bit poor choice of passing and clearance in the first half invited a little bit of pressure on us, but we've taken 2 sides, top 5 sides in the last 3 home games: Tranmere, Dover and Grimsby, and I don't think you could make any kind of argument that we deserve to lose any of those games. But it's brutal facts now. We've got to stick the ball in the back of the net and turn some of these at least turn some of these draws into wins, and we'll have a better opportunity obviously next weekend, but the pressure's on to go out and perform and get the results. Obviously disappointed to lose. I thought we matched them for. They started well first 5-10 minutes. They got the goal in front, but then for the rest of the game, I thought we matched them. Had a few decent chances, hit the post again. In the second half, had some dangerous moments. Even with 10 men, the ball's in their 6-yard box and it ends up under Dolly Johnson's backside. It just won't go for us. They're a good, strong side. I think we've seen that when we played them in games earlier this season. And then obviously once the red card happens, it makes it more difficult. But even then, like I say, I think we had opportunities in the game. I thought we were very evenly matched, and probably that's the reason why they're in the top half of the table going well, and why we're in the bottom. It just won't go in for us, and we've got to look at ourselves. Why we can't get it in the back of the net. We're getting in enough good positions and enough scoring opportunities, just won't go in for us. I think we're a bit unfortunate with a goal away. It bounces off the lad's midriff and straight into his path. Finishes it really well, to be fair. I think in pain they've got the best forward play that I've seen in this league this year. And he finished it really well, showed the true bit of quality on the day. Can't fault the effort of the lads. I thought we deserved more from the game, but business end of the season, we've got to be getting some points on board, and it makes next weekend massive now.
One of the major moments of the game was the second booking for James Hurst. Did you have a view on both of the yellow cards?
I think he's given the referee, and the first yellow card's an absolute joke. It's just ridiculous. Persistent fouling, we were told. Well, I could probably add up the number of times that their players have made as many fouls and worse fouls, the 5 in particular, but have not been booked. So why is Hurst being booked for that? I think then, having been booked, he gives the referee an option to send him off, and I think it was poor play from Hurst. I think he's got to do got to be brighter than that and not give the referee. Couldn't get his cards out of his pocket quick enough, mind. But I think he was naive all afternoon. I thought some of the diving that went on, as far as we were told, diving is a bookable offence, simulation or whatever they want to call it. You must have had 7-8 examples of it in this game, and it's not being punished. When persistent fouling is being punished, why is are we picking and choosing what we're punishing for? And some of it was a joke. In the lead up to Hurst's yellow card, there's a foul in midfield that he misses. Payne goes through and just throws himself to the floor. He gives them a free kick. We break down the other end, and you see the frustration in the players. And Hursty's got to be better, but you can see that frustration in his game, and it's ended in the red card. So really disappointed with how our game was refereed today. I thought it was so naive. I think we've got one or two players with reputations for going down easily, shall we say, and he's just fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
It's an afternoon where teams at the bottom have picked up points while we've dropped them. And you talked about the importance of the Easter weekend, actually. What's your thoughts now? How do we set about Southport on Saturday, which is so much more important now, I guess, after this afternoon's result?
Yeah, we'll go to win the game. That's what we've got to do. It's what we've done in the last few weeks. We've had a tough run of fixtures against teams going for promotion. We've got a couple of games over Easter against teams in and around us in the league, so just got to approach it in the same way, be positive, and on the whole play like we have done. I think I can't ask for any more from the lads today. I don't think they made too many mistakes. A little bit poor choice of passing and clearance in the first half invited a little bit of pressure on us, but we've taken two sides, top 5 sides in the last 3 home games: Tranmere, Dover and Grimsby, and I don't think you could make any kind of argument that we deserve to lose any of those games. But it's brutal facts now. We've got to stick the ball in the back of the net and turn some of these at least turn some of these draws into wins, and we'll have a better opportunity obviously next weekend, but the pressure's on to go out and perform and get the results. Obviously disappointed to lose. I thought we matched them for. They started well first 5-10 minutes. They got the goal in front, but then for the rest of the game, I thought we matched them. Had a few decent chances, hit the post again. In the second half, had some dangerous moments. Even with 10 men, the ball's in their 6-yard box and it ends up under Dolly Johnson's backside. It just won't go for us. They're a good, strong side. I think we've seen that when we played them in games earlier this season. And then obviously once the red card happens, it makes it more difficult. But even then, like I say, I think we had opportunities in the game. I thought we were very evenly matched, and probably that's the reason why they're in the top half of the table going well, and why we're in the bottom. It just won't go in for us, and we've got to look at ourselves. Why we can't get it in the back of the net. We're getting in enough good positions and enough scoring opportunities, just won't go in for us. I think a bit unfortunate with a goal away. It bounces off the lad's midriff and straight into his path. Finishes it really well, to be fair. I think in Payne they've got the best forward player that I've seen in this league this year. And he finished it really well, showed the true bit of quality on the day. Can't fault the effort of the lads. I thought we deserved more from the game, but business end of the season, we're going to be getting some points on board, and it makes next weekend massive now.
One of the major moments of the game was the second booking for James Hurst. Did you have a view on both of the yellow cards?
I think he's given the referee, the first yellow card's an absolute joke. It's just ridiculous. Persistent fouling, we were told. Well, I could probably add up the number of times that their players have made as many fouls and worse fouls, the 5 in particular, but have not been booked. So why is Hurst being booked for that? I think then, having been booked, he gives the referee an option to send him off, and I think it was play from Hurst. I think he's got to do got to be brighter than that and not give the referee. Couldn't get his cards out of his pocket quick enough, mind. But I think he was naive all afternoon. I thought some of the diving that went on, as far as we were told, diving is a bookable offence, simulation or whatever they want to call it. You must have had 7-8 examples of it in this game, and it's not being punished. When persistent fouling is being punished, why pick picking and choosing what we're punishing for, and you know, some of it was a joke. In the lead up to Hurst's yellow card, there's a foul in midfield that he misses. Payne goes through and just throws himself to the floor. He gives them a free kick. We break down the other end, and you see the frustration in the players, and Hursty's got to be better, but you can see, you know, that frustration in the cards. So really, really disappointed with how our game was refereed today. I thought it was so naive. You know, I think we've got one or two players with reputations for going down easily, shall we say, and you know, he's just fallen for it, hook, line and sinker.
It's an afternoon where teams at the bottom have picked up points while we've dropped them. And you talked about the importance of the Easter weekend, actually. What's your thoughts now? How do we set about Southport on Saturday, which is so much more important now, I guess, after this afternoon's result? Yeah,
we'll go to win the game. That's what we've got to do. It's what we've done in the last few weeks. We've had a tough run of fixtures against teams, going for promotion. We've got a couple of games over Easter against teams in and around us in the league. So just got to approach it in the same way, be positive, and on the whole, play like we have done. I think I can't ask for any more from the lads today. I don't think they made too many mistakes. A little bit poor choice of passing and clearance in the first half invited a little bit of pressure on us, but we've taken two sides, top five sides in the last three home games: Tranmere, Dover and Grimsby, and I don't think you could make any kind of argument that we deserve to lose any of those games. But it's brutal facts now. We've got to stick the ball in the back of the net and turn some of these, at least turn some of these draws into wins. And we'll have a better opportunity, obviously, next weekend, but the pressure's on to go out and perform and get the results.
Welcome back to Hague Avenue here at Southport, the Merseyrail Community Stadium, for this afternoon's game between Southport and Guiseley. Half-time here, and it's not a good story so far. Could be worse, admittedly. Only the goal behind, but a very abject, disappointing, borderline woeful performance in that first half from the Lions. I'm Chris Bell. Alongside me is Dave Kendra. Dave, we'd hope they've had a bit of a rocket up the backside.
Right. I felt I was a bit negative at the end of that first half.
Oh no, it was that bad.
It was bad. So here's some positives. OJ's back out. He's still holding his ribs, but he's back out on the pitch, and while he's on the pitch, there's a chance of brilliance. It's only 1-0, and hopefully the Guiseley players who came out first, about a minute or so before the Southport players, will have had a bit of a ticking off, will have a bit of a flea in their ear, and with any luck will come out and want to put this right.
Absolutely. Well, it is going to be Southport to get us back underway for this second half. Southport now shooting from left to right towards the Jack Carr stand. Guiseley from right to left, which in the first half was the same direction as the wind and the rain, but it's eased off a little bit. Still a little bit damp and a bit of light rain in the air, but nothing like the winds we were having before. As Ollie Johnson now picks up the ball, gets it into Adam Boyes, but a poor first touch, and Boyes and Josh Thompson sensibly sends that out to Viscosi, the goalkeeper for Southport. He clears it away downfield. A big second half needed from the Lions, as Mike Phoenix now has the ball at his feet. Ben Parker stays strong, does well, comes away with the ball. Look to find Ollie Johnson, with the ball bounced up and bobbled away. Now Norburn on the halfway line, having to shield the ball up. He's being put under pressure from Liam Nolan, who eventually concedes the free kick at Southport's expense. And now a free kick for the Lions on the halfway line. Taken short by Danny Lowe. Finds Ben Parker on this left-hand side. The cross is put in by Parker, but it's been cleared away by Southport. And Andre Jones gets that clear. And now Southport in possession on the halfway line with Whittle. It's played to Rutherford. Good continuing run though from Whittle into acres of space down the left-hand side. Gets the 18-yard box. Ball goes across. Dan Atkinson gets his body behind it. But again, guys like switching off a little bit at the back there. They started well in this second half, but they were just caught.
Ben Parker there uncharacteristically sluggish. Here come the Lions again now.
Here is Adam Boyes. Well, the referee has stopped play because the man down for Southport on this near side, Johnny Margetts, who's just got himself back to his own feet and now goes back down on the pitch. What is the point in that? We've got the attendance for you. 983 is the overall attendance with 149 away supporters. 983 with 149 from Guiseley. As I try and find my pen to write a note of that.
Excellent turnout from the Lions fans, and they have been in excellent voice all through this game. There were a fair few grumbles around the tea stand at half-time, I can tell you that.
Amongst the Lions supporters, no doubt.
Very much so, amongst some very soggy-looking Lions supporters as well.
As Dave pulls out the Easter chocolate, always welcome. We're going to see another change for the home side fairly soon. It's not a particularly welcome change either, because Craig Westcott, a vastly experienced striker, has spent the vast majority of his career in the Football League. He's going to be the man to come on fairly soon. Play continuing for now though, as Ollie Johnson is pulled down by Mike Phoenix, and a free kick goes in Guiseley's favour. And we are now going to see that change as Craig Westcott comes on to replace Johnny Margetts.
An odd time to make a substitution, just 3 minutes into the second half.
It was Margetts that went down, so clearly they've seen something in the injury to bring him off now. As free kick for Guiseley, Norburn takes it. It's a good ball, goes all the way through the box though, a bit too long. And behind.
It was a good ball in, a good
kick.
swerving ball in the wind. You just want one of Boyes, Atkinson or Lawler, who were all in there, who all have a bit of height on them, just to hurl themselves at that. Any kind of touch might have taken that beyond the Southport keeper.
Keep talking, Dave. I've got a chocolate in
He's
now.
got a chocolate in his mouth.
Well, you gave me it. This is the professionalism of Guiseley Radio.
Well, yeah. Chocolate first. My goodness. There's a foul there on the halfway line. Oliver Norburn just going in a little bit too enthusiastically on a Southport midfielder, and a free kick.
To be fair, I'm glad you brought chocolate. It's something to make me happy after that first half performance from Guiseley.
Well, we need a bit of happiness.
So a free kick for Southport. This isn't really working,
This isn't really working, is it? Come on. Southport take this free kick. It's lobbed into the box and nodded down and eventually cleared by Danny Lowe. Gary Jones plays that back in.
There we go.
And a bit of a calamitous defending there, a bit last ditch, and it was eventually hoofed clear.
We've said that a couple
Rob
of times though.
So last ditch from the Lions today. Again, quickly played in, nodded away by Danny Lowe. Norburn sprays the ball out to the right hand side to Hatfield.
That's a really good ball out to Will Hatfield. Plays a low ball into the feet of Ollie Johnson inside the area. Looks to turn and get the cross away, but it's been closed down well. But still, Guiseley have possession through Ollie Johnson. Being caught down by that corner flag. And the linesman on that far side says the ball went out of play off Ollie Johnson. Sadly, what was a good promising move ends in a goal kick for Southport.
Johnson there just gets walked out towards the corner and just runs into its complete dead end. I'm not quite sure how the linesman gives that as a goal kick. I don't know. But, well, look, anyway, all the danger had gone out of that attack. Southport closing down very well, as they have done for a lot of this game. Unfortunately, the Lions not getting a great deal of opportunity going forward at the moment.
Well, Southport just knocked the ball out of play accidentally. Throwing for Guiseley on the halfway line. And Ryan Toulson will take, sends it long, looks fine on Boyes. Boyes does win the header, flicks it into the path of Ollie Johnson. Johnson with 2 yellow shirts around him, goes down. Nothing given by the linesman on that far side, who was right in front of Ollie Johnson. So a goal kick, it is given. The ball rolls out of play. But again, that looked like it could have been given as Ollie Johnson went down.
Yeah, it was certainly a physical challenge on Ollie Johnson there, and he's not getting anything at the moment, OJ. I think because he's sort of leaning into the defenders, the referees are assuming he's always looking.
Well, a goal kick from John Viscosi then. It's a poor one. Pulled out to that left-hand side too far. Out for a throw-in. Ryan Toulson will come and take the throw. Headed up into the air by Ollie Johnson with no real direction on it. Half cleared away by Southport. Picked up by Ollie Norburn. Now Lawler. Good ball into the feet of Ollie Johnson. Lays it back to Boys, who tried to inadvertently tee it up for Ollie Norburn. And Southport have picked up the poor pass and look to come forward. As referee stops, and the referee is doing a freaking Guiseley favour for a shirt pull that nobody saw but him. We won't complain though.
Quickly
great
taking
ball.
free kick as well.
He's played out by Ollie Johnson to that right hand side to Hatfield. Now Norburn. Now Boys. Back to Ollie Norburn. Now Toulson on that right hand side. A little bit more urgency needed from the Lions, but so far they've shown it in these early stages. The second half as the ball goes across. Ollie Johnson was the man lurking, and it's been turned behind by Andrew Jones for a Guiseley corner.
Much better from the Lions there. Kept it flowing, kept it on the ground. Tried to play it. Found Hatfield on the edge of the box, who played Boys in his ball across. Maybe could have done with a bit more pace on it, but it was an opportunity for the Lions there, and now they've got a corner. Got to get the most of this.
Yeah, we are under a great deal of opportunities as this corner is swung in by Hatfield, saved by John Viscosi, behind for another corner.
Hatfield arriving very late in the penalty area there and played out. Nobody caught the Southport defence completely off guard. Slid in, maybe again, just didn't quite get the power on the shot, but it was a scrambled clearance from the Southport defence.
53 and a half gone. Corner delivered in, near post. Ollie Johnson looks to flick it away. Goes behind for another corner.
Got away with one there, Nicky Boschel. That wasn't a great corner.
Boschel again better this time as he goes out, headed by Danny Lowe onto the thigh of Liam Nolan. Second ball comes back in from the right hand side. This one cleared away much better though by the home side. Ben Parker will just give that back to Dan Atkinson. Atkinson clears it first time, met by a Southport head, who sends it forward. Now the chase is on between Mike Phoenix and Ben Parker. Parker does get the ball to his feet, but he's been caught under a lot of pressure, and he's been caught in possession as Mike Phoenix brings the ball into the box, pulls it across the edge of the penalty area, and eventually it is cleared away by Guiseley. But Ben Parker again almost very guilty there of playing himself and Guiseley into a lot of trouble. Now Norburn, 20 yards out.
Just waiting for options as he's not getting any.
Ollie Johnson picks up the ball, lifts it towards the back post, too much on it, and that goes behind for a goal kick. Well, we heard a chance there of attack from the Guiseley travelling faithful to our left-hand side. It's what Guiseley need to do. We're going to see the first change, and it's Adam Smith who is going to come on, and he's replacing, not too surprisingly from a fitness perspective, Ollie Johnson is being the man withdrawn.
Well, if you think about it in the terms of how long Ollie Johnson's been out, he's done well to complete nearly an hour today. It's another step forward. As long as that challenge towards the end of the first half hasn't taken too much out of him. And of course, it's good to see Adam Smith back in a white shirt as well. He's been out for quite a long time, and it looks like he's going to go out to the right and bring Hatfield in to play in just beyond Adam Boys.
Absolutely. So very much a 4-2-3-1 now. Ollie Johnson, it was a little bit hard to tell, to be honest, where he was playing. He was getting a lot further forward than an attacking midfielder usually would do, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. He's been the more dangerous, to be honest, but obviously following his first start for 10 months, it's no surprise to see Ollie Johnson being the first to be withdrawn. Southport look to play the ball forward. The offside flag goes up against Craig Westcar. So as you say, Nicky Boschel on this left-hand side, Adam Smith on the right, Boys through the middle with Will Hatfield, Jake Lawler and Oliver Norburn as the three central midfielders. Hatfield the one in the most advanced role as Dan Atkinson takes his free kick following the offside. The ball now at the feet of Nicky Boschel, lifted well to Norburn on the edge of the box, looks to slide it through to Boschel or Boys, both were options, but it's been cut out by Southport. Guiseley look to continue this spell of pressure. Good play from Norburn. Nicky Boschel not quite reading that right. Does well though as he comes out of a crowd of players, slips, almost gets lucky with the cross. Adam Smith now though can pick up that loose ball on the right hand side, edge of the 18-yard box, comes back in and headed towards goal by Boschel, but agonisingly wide of the upright.
So close. Really nice move there. Really good effort from Oliver Norburn in the centre of midfield to keep winning that ball. Really good effort actually from Nicky Boschel, who let the ball run for him. Tried to play it in for Adam Boys. It ran out to Adam Smith on the right hand side. A perfect ball in. A really good header by Nicky Boschel, who got himself into that box. He's put it beyond the keeper, but just beyond the post as well. Take a breath.
That's what I need to do, because this has been encouraging from Guiseley in the opening 12 minutes of this second half, as Will Hatfield looks to get forward. Now Smith looking for it. It's been cut out well though by Paul Rutherford. Now Alex Whittle can clear that away for Southport. Atkinson gets his head onto the ball. Now Lowe looks to clear it forward. Smith was anticipating it, didn't go to the ball, and that allowed Whittle to get in between and play the ball down this left-hand side for Southport now as they look to attack the ball on the edge of the box. The shot comes in from Louis Armand, and he hits it right-footed and almost clears the top of the Jack Carr stand.
Yeah, but again, as this game has opened up, as it certainly has in this first 15 minutes, it's a much improved spectacle, if nothing else, and a much improved Lions performance in this first 15 minutes. But there's the danger, of course, that the more Guiseley push forward, the more they leave themselves open down these wings.
Dan Atkinson now clears the ball downfield from the goal kick, flicked forward by Adam Boys. Hatfield was looking to try and get in behind, but was never going to have enough pace to actually get on the receiving end of the ball, which rolls through to John Viscosi. 58 minutes gone. Southport 1, Guiseley 0, but encouraging signs in this opening 12 or 13 minutes or so.
Oof, Dover 4-0 up against Torquay now. And Barrow have equalised against Chester.
Mike Phoenix now plays the ball down the right hand side. Louis Armand. He's got Danny Lowe for company. Lowe gets a foot in, does well. There's a bit of a scuffle between Danny Lowe and Louis Armand. As both players pushing and shoving each other, the referee's going to come across. It was right in front of the assistant on this near side. A particularly stupid place to get involved in that kind of pushing and shoving.
Handbags. Absolute handbags from the pair of them. Calm down.
And the referee probably takes a sensible approach there and books neither of them. As Gary Jones now delivers across, takes a deflection from Ben Parker. The ball goes out into the Southport dugout for a Guiseley throw. Adam Boys now in a little bit of a confrontation with Andre Jones, but the throw-in is taken by the Lions. Parker to Hatfield. Perhaps this little bit of heat maybe actually is what Guiseley need, because they haven't played with any form of real passion, to be honest. There's a coming together again between Armand and Lowe. Takes place outside the box. The referee allows play to continue again.
Danny Lowe wants to watch himself. He doesn't want to get dragged into that.
And the ball, great save from Dan Atkinson. The follow-up comes in from Armand, and he blazed it over. But that was an excellent fingertip reaction save from Dan Atkinson. The ball played down the right-hand side. I don't know who got the shot off eventually.
It's a fine one-handed save from Dan Atkinson, and we got away with the finish. He just rushed it. Now Danny Lowe and Armand are going to have a word with the referee here.
Ben Parker came over to have a word with the referee as well. Ben Parker's now going over to have a word.
He's been sent away, and that is next one, and you're both in the book. Danny Lowe just doesn't need to get involved in any of that. He wants to step away from all of that. That's clearly Armand's game. It's just to try and wind him up, and he is succeeding at the moment.
Well, Matt Bowers having a word with the fourth official on his near side. And now, once again, the battle will continue as Danny Lowe looks to close the ball down as it goes out of play as Louis Armand was chasing. And thankfully, they managed to watch the ball go out of that one perfectly fine with nobody getting into any tussles.
Tussles, I think that's a good word to describe what's been going on between Hall and Armand at the moment. Just tussles. Nonsense. It's a bit of nonsense. That's what it is.
61 gone here in Southport. Southport still leading by a goal to nil. but for the large part of the early stages of this second half, things had looked brighter for the Lions. But Southport now on the attack down this left-hand side. Here's Rutherford, gets to the edge of the 18-yard box. Toulson just about gets a foot into relieve some of the danger as Jake Lawler finishes the job. Now Adam Boyes putting Josh Thompson under a bit of pressure. It does well. Good running from Boyes. And the clearance from John Viscosi goes straight out of play for a Guiseley throw, which has been taken quickly. Now Hatfield. Now Smith. He's just been caught in possession, though, by Rutherford. Now Armand tussling this time with Atkinson. And Atkinson's shirt. How? Atkinson's shirt was pretty much up around his nipples.
Pretty much had his arm over Rob Atkinson. Literally trying to take his shirt off. And the referee's given that as a Southport free kick. I cannot believe that.
That's ridiculous. There was... well... unbelievable, because Rob Atkinson's shirt was being hoisted up around his waist.
Seems to be the way it's going, doesn't it?
Well, the free kick's been taken by Southport. They've got the ball down this right-hand side with Mike Phoenix. Ben Parker comes across, puts the ball out of play for a throw. 63 gone. This game, it's certainly...
There's a bit of spice going into this game now.
There is, isn't
there? Really are. There's a few tasty challenges knocking about, and
by all accounts, it needs it, because the first half, especially from Guiseley's point of view, was a very lame affair. No urgency, no real fight from either side. I mean, Guiseley were comfortable, were just happy to let Southport play it around them when they could. Whereas when Guiseley were in possession, Southport were crowding around and closing down well. It's been better from the Lions in this second half, and if that comes with a little bit of temper, a little bit of heat and fight, then so be it. You need that in these situations.
It is a bit. I think it's probably worth remembering we've got two players on a yellow card, Rob Atkinson and Will Hatfield, so it's probably worth just keeping an eye on that.
Good ball,
yes,
from Ben Parker into Boschel. Boschel's touch, tried to lay it off for Boyes. There was a poor one. First time ball forward. Dan Atkinson comes outside of his area. Does all right, though. He does all right as the flag goes up against Will Hatfield.
Dan Atkinson was a lot calmer about that than any other Guiseley fan or player, I think. Just took that down with his right foot. And
he's been taking lessons from Steve Drench. And breathe, Dave, breathe.
I mean, it needed it. As a spectacle, it needed it. It needed to pick up, and it needed to get a little bit of, a few tackles flying in there. But
65 gone. Still Southport leading by that goal to nil. The ball, the feet of Craig Westcar. Challenging with Oliver Norburn. Guiseley pick up possession. Here is Norburn. He tries to release the ball early and over the top, but there's too much on it.
Even if Boyes wasn't being held back there, he wouldn't have made that.
Just a reminder, the remaining subs on the bench: Tom Craddock, Gavin Rothery, Danny Hall and Emile Sinclair. So there is attacking options there. Adam Smith, of course, the first substitute to have come on to replace Ollie Johnson, hasn't had a great deal of opportunity to do much in this game. There's the ball from Toulson. It's a little bit heavy, that was looking for Smith. Dan Atkinson off his line, and Dan Atkinson has been lobbed. He's been beaten. He got his positioning all wrong there, and he made it very, very easy for Craig Westcar to put the ball around the Guiseley goalkeeper. And Southport have had their lead doubled, and again it's an individual mistake that's cost Guiseley a goal. Southport 2, Guiseley 0.
Well, Atkinson's caught in two minds as he starts to go for it. He gets to the edge of the area, he realises he's not going to make it, and it's a very, very calm finish from the Southport player. But
he doesn't get back quickly enough.
He's just a little slow in reversing. He clearly can't reverse quick enough, and the damage is already done when he starts to go. It'd have been better staying at home. Just again, it's, as you say, individual mistakes that are going to cost us 3 points here. But positives, Southport were 3-0 up against Welling. They're only 2 up here, easy. 5-2, no problems.
Guiseley have got to get themselves sorted out and have got to do something soon, because you can't bet on Southport throwing away a lead like they did against Welling. Again, as Rob Atkinson has just been put under pressure by Westcar. The substitute for Southport, Danny Lowe, caught in possession by Louis Armand. And the free kick, fortunate for Guiseley, goes in their favour.
Fortunate indeed. Danny Lowe there, just very, very hesitant on the ball.
And challenge from the Guiseley faithful of, we don't know what we're doing. As the ball comes in from Smith, looking to Boschel, who's offside. This is turning into what was,
well,
up until 2 minutes ago, was promising. We're going to see a double substitution now. It's much needed. Emile Sinclair is the first man to come on to replace Ben Parker. And the other man to come on is Tom Craddock. So there is undoubtedly going to be a change of shape now.
Who does
watch
Craddock
very
come on
carefully.
Boys? It's Boys.
It is Adam Boys who is coming off to be replaced.
So that would suggest 2 up front. The way they're lining up here would suggest 4-4-2.
Yep, Lawler's dropped in at centre half. Danny Lowe has come to left back. You've got Nicky Boschel on the left, Hatfield and Norburn in the centre of midfield, Smith on the right. And then, as you say, 2 up top in form of Sinclair and Craddock. Now, if ever there was a time for Tom Craddock to become the player we hoped he could be, now is that time, as Adam Smith now picks up the ball on the right-hand side, plays the ball to Will Hatfield, who's made the overlapping run, gets a good cross in, Craddock goes for it, it comes to Boschel, Boschel hits it goal bound, but it's taken a ricochet off a Southport player and come away.
But better already, instant change, instant impact, closing down.
Now Rob Atkinson has to come across, puts the ball out of play because Louis Armand was looking to get away down this right-hand side. You feel that we're in for a very open remaining 22 minutes of this game.
If there was ever a doubt that Guiseley are not in the middle of this relegation mire, they absolutely are now. 2-0 down away to Southport, to one of their relegation rivals. I mean, it's looking bleak. You throw on 2 strikers. Is this the turning point?
Something has to happen soon for Guiseley. As Mike Phoenix turns 2 Guiseley players far too easily there. Thankfully, his ball across is a very poor one, and it comes out of play for a throw-in on the far side. How are your nerves, Dave? How are you holding up?
At the moment, my nerves are currently being masked by the latent fury.
I wasn't expecting that, but I think it's a suitable response. As the ball is cleared forward by O'Brien for Southport, picked up by Hatfield, now Boschel inside the centre circle, plays it out to that right hand side, looking for Adam Smith, a little bit overhit, and Alex Whittle watches that roll out.
There is going to be a few people happy that Jake Lawler's dropped back to centre back. There is an argument that says Jake Lawler has looked a little
shaky
more
in midfield.
It looked shaky in midfield, but also has looked better as a centre back this year.
Well, we're going to see
than a centre mid.
Another change for Southport. There is a Southport man down 10 yards or so, maybe a little more, inside the Guiseley half. Stephen Hewitt is ready to come on, and it's 22, which is, when I can get to my team sheet, Mike Phoenix, who is the name who is going to come off. 3 changes for Southport made, and all of them resulting from injuries or injury doubts. And Stephen Hewitt, the centre midfielder, former Burnley youngster, is going to come on. So that would suggest a slight change of shape from Southport. The right midfielder going off, and somebody who is normally an out-and-out centre mid coming on. As Southport get play back underway with the throw-in. Adam Smith battles down that right-hand side, but Southport get it away, and Rob Atkinson will clear that out of play. 18 minutes to go. Southport 2, Guiseley 0. All 3 changes made by the Lions. In fact, by both sides now. But the final roll of the dice from Mark Bauer, the double substitution, Emile Sinclair and Tom Craddock coming on, really tells you all you need to know. Guiseley need to get the ball And they need to get it forward and start creating some opportunities, of which there haven't been many in this game. Here's Hatfield. Now Lawler, first time ball forward. Mark O'Brien returns it into the Guiseley half. Danny Lowe nods it, only picks out Hewitt. Now Armand. Now Westcar on the edge of the Guiseley 18-yard box, but Guiseley do well, pick up the ball, but as soon as I say that, they've given it away again via a deflection. Now Hewitt, who seems to be operating on the right-hand side of midfield. There's a ball looking to find Armand, intercepted though by Guiseley. Craddock can't get a touch. And now Sinclair and Craddock will give chase as the ball is sent back to John Viscosa. He clears it downfield. Nicky Boschel, his touch is a poor one. We watched the ball drop a little bit sooner in the wind there. Ball forward now from Rutherford. Now Hatfield, he just hooks it forward, but it's aimless from Guiseley. Aimless.
He just didn't look up, didn't stop, didn't see who was there, just hoofed it into an empty space right between Craddock and Sinclair, and neither of them could do anything about it. But isn't this game just sort of getting to be a little bit typical of Guiseley's season? You know, we have a 5-10 minutes there where we look positive and we look like we create a couple of chances, and we look like we might be able to get back in this game, and then we are sucker punched by an individual mistake. How many times have we seen it this season, Chris? How many more times will we see it?
Far too often so far. And sadly, as this game suggests, it's not changing anytime soon. As Adam Smith is just to have fouled a Southport man, so a free kick taken from the left-hand side, just inside the Guiseley half. Now Armand, with the ball at his feet on the edge of the box, goes for goal. Wide, always going wide, and behind for a goal kick.
The slightly worrying thing as well that we've spotted is Danny Lowe, who's moved out over to left back, was just holding his groin a couple of minutes ago. I don't think he's having any fun. I think he's injured. And I think he looks like he might have pulled something.
And Guiseley have made all 3 substitutions. Danny Lowe is certainly communicating with Mark Bauer and with Martin Stringfellow on the Guiseley bench. Now Adam Smith can't get on the ball as Whittle clears it away. It's fair to say that Southport have been very good at doing what Guiseley haven't, and that's clearing the ball away at the first attempt without risking conceding any danger. This ball forward from Atkinson. Too much on it. Goes through for a goal kick.
In fairness, for large chunks of this game, we haven't given them much to think about. You know, they've given them the time and given them the space. You do that, and any team can defend effectively against us.
15 plus added time to go. And barring a miracle, I can't see us getting much more than 3 or 4 minutes. Although with the way we've gone for the majority of this game, we could probably have another 45 and probably still wouldn't really muster up that many shots unless something changes soon performance-wise. Aimlessly cleared forward by Mark O'Brien, but it works out straight to Craig Westcott, who is, again, from his perspective, I think unfortunate to concede a foul. Free kick taken quickly by Atkinson, plays it to Toulson. Toulson now sends it down the right-hand side. Tom Craddock will try to give chase, but again, they just haven't judged the passing.
It's played out wide, it's hoofed over the midfield, and for Craddock and for the striker to chase, and it's overhit. It's been the same pattern all game. And
the last couple of games, because if you think back to Dover last week, same story
exactly.
there.
But you look at where we've been successful today and where we've created opportunities, and it's when we've got the ball down on the ground, when we've played those neat little triangles, we can pass the ball around them, so why don't we?
Here's Jones. Now Hewitt gets the ball forward. Cuts out by Nicky Boschel. It does seem that Nicky Boschel and Danny Lowe have changed places. Nicky Boschel has dropped back to left back. Danny Lowe, who is now wearing the captain's armband, of course, is taken the left midfield role. So there has been a slight tweak there, perhaps from the pace of Danny Lowe, and arguably can deliver a more consistent ball as the ball is headed behind by Josh Thompson of Southport for a for a corner kick.
It does look like as if to cover for Danny Lowe, who is not moving particularly comfortably. Nick Boschel seems to have moved into a sort of wing-back position.
Corner now for Guiseley. Oliver Norburn delivers this one up towards back post. There was Danny Lowe, but Josh Thompson gets a touch on it, and it goes behind for another Guiseley corner. We need to make these count with
We
13
do.
to
Just
go.
Throw everything at it. Hurl white shirts at that ball as it comes in.
Corner now comes in. This is a poor one, but it's not been cleared well. Now Norburn, edge of the box. So many yellow shirts ahead of him. He does well to get the ball out to Craddock on this left-hand side of the 18-yard box. Gets inside the box, forced to turn back though. Good ball into the feet of Will Hatfield, who tries to swing a leg at it. Again, crowded out though. 3 yellow shirts back, and Guiseley look to come away as Ollie Norburn goes in for a desperate sliding tackle. Southport coming away with Louis Armand inside the box, pulls the ball across and wide. There was 2 yellow shirts in the box in Liam Nolan and somebody else, and it misses all 3 potential targets. The goal number 2 Southport players.
1 minute Hatfield's robbed of the ball on the edge of the penalty area because, quite frankly, we didn't get the ball in the box quick enough.
And 10 seconds later,
10 seconds later, we should be 3-0 down. I'm sorry if I sound depressed. It's because it's a thoroughly depressing performance.
Dan Atkinson clears the ball downfield, goes out to that right-hand side where Toulson can pick it up, goes out for a throw. Toulson takes it quickly, plays the 1-2 with Adam Smith. The ball goes out of play. It goes out looking like it was going to go for a throw. The referee gives the free kick against Will Hatfield for a foul on Craig Westcar.
You do try and be philosophical about it, don't you? But the National League just keeps piling it on for us, doesn't it?
This is going to start sounding like grumpy old men fairly soon.
What do you mean start?
Now Whittle takes the free kick for Southport. Lawler goes up, doesn't win it in the air. And now Hewitt goes down and is just being fouled by Nicky Boschel. Nicky Boschel comes away with the ball perfectly, but questionably. Judging by your face, Dave.
It was a little bit out of my line of sight, I'm afraid, but I didn't see it. But, that is a bit of a worry. If Nicky Boschel's now playing in 2 positions at once because Danny Lowe can't run, we could be in bother here.
Free kick taken quickly into Louis Armand. Danny Lowe, the man closest to him. The ball back out to Gary Jones. Jones delivers it towards the near post. Lawler's clearance just goes up into the air. No real distance on it. The ball goes out of play via a deflection off Oliver Norburn for a Southport throw. 10 minutes to go.
Tweet us at Guiseley Radio. Go on.
Keep it clean and we'll read it out. In fact, at this stage,
I'll edit it. It'll be fine.
Throw-in taken by Southport. They get the ball across. Roy Atkinson doesn't convincingly clear that away. The ball now at the feet of Tom Craddock. Knocks it back to Norburn. Norburn then looks to switch it across that right-hand side. Decent idea. Just about has the legs on it, the ball there, to get it across. Now Hatfield runs up to and into Craig Westcott, who's just blocked him off. I'm not entirely convinced by the referee this afternoon, if I'm completely honest. Now Lowe. It's the Guiseley fans sounding their disgruntlement as Emil Sinclair now gets the ball into the 18-yard box, but again closed down. Sinclair goes for goal, clips the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. Really unfortunate.
He had to do that all himself there, Emil Sinclair. He beats the offside trap. He's just shepherded out to the left-hand side, but he has to turn back in and get a shot away because he's got no one to pass to. He does very, very well to get a shot away. He's very unlucky not to open his account, but my goodness.
That was met with what I'm going to class as slightly ironic chance of we had a shot.
Well,
but it's a fair point.
Danny Lowe was waiting for a written invitation, I think, to play the ball over as well.
Here's Lawler. Thankfully, sees the ball go out of play off Louis Almond for a goal kick. Nobody's tweeting.
Tell us. I'll tell you what. You can tweet us at Guiseley Radio with what you're going to do tonight to cheer yourself up after this. I'm going to go home, have a couple of beers and a curry.
I think beer and curry sounds like a great combination for tonight. Oh, there isn't even a match of the day to cheer myself up with.
Yeah,
international break. Here's Craddock with a little bit of space to run into, but again, there's that same familiar feeling of being closed down too quickly. Daniel O goes to ground. Liam Nolan wins the challenge. Here's Norburn on the halfway line.
There's been a couple of times when actually they haven't been closed down too quickly, but they've been too hesitant on the ball.
Now Craddock, good footwork. Norburn. It's one of those days again when even Oliver Norburn's usually excellent passing has just not worked. It's just not worked out. Here's Norburn again. Moves in field. Now Emil Sinclair, ball at his feet, plays it.
Is it Adam Smith crying out for it, but just too
he's
late.
Caught in possession. And Southport can come and try and come away down their left-hand side. And they've got the ball as Rutherford gives chase. Lawler. You just want to bash your head against a brick wall because the ball comes to Jake Lawler, who you think get one touch on it, sweep it out, put it out for a throw. He lets it hit him and go behind for a corner.
Who needs to continually beat your head against a brick wall when you can come and watch Guiseley every week and watch them do it instead? My goodness, it's Chester 1, Barrow 1, Dover 4, Torquay 0. We are ever increasingly looking like we're relying on snookers.
Corner now for Southport. A poor one, thankfully. But Oliver Norburn is caught in possession. He's appealing for something. I'm not sure what he's getting. But the referee is giving a yellow card to Louis Almond. I have no idea what that's for. Presumably a deliberate handball, maybe? I don't know.
It didn't look like a handball to me. It just looked like he went into... I wonder if he said something and it's just cumulative. It did look cumulative.
Sinclair now, flicks ball forward. The ball comes to Craddock. Craddock looks to try and get it on the volley. Off the bounce. But it's cleared away. What a moment it would be for him if he could get something from this game for him personally. 6 plus added time to go. The ball at the feet of Louis Almonds. He runs down this right hand side now for Southport. Gets to the edge of the 18-yard box up against Jake Lawler. Daniel Lowe tries to trap back. The ball goes across to Craig Westcar. Runs further across. Back now to Hewitt. Good challenge comes in. Somehow Guiseley able to get that away. Now with Adam Smith. Guiseley have got to get players forward and are failing to do so. And that's... just don't know where to begin with that because Adam Smith, you thought he's got space to run into. He had the man far over. He just didn't get the pace in the ball. It was intercepted cheaply. But Hatfield now, a little bit of hope if this rolls for a corner, which it does. 5 plus added time to go.
Again, just going back to that incident in the centre of the midfield, we had a really great opportunity to make a breakaway, and it just decided to pass it to a yellow shirt for no reason that we can possibly fathom. But Will Hatfield does well, keeps going as he does.
Oliver Norburn now to deliver this corner up towards back post. Goalkeeper doesn't really get anything convincing. Emil Sinclair, it's off the line. That sums it up. Emil Sinclair went for the acrobatic, and it was blocked on the line by a Southport player with his chest, and the ball bounces straight in the hands of the Southport keeper, John Viscosa.
Increasingly, you're starting to think that we're going to need to push for a change in the rules. The goals are going to have to be 12 foot high, 16 feet across, and with a big target in the middle of them.
And now the chat of we've had 2 shots. Comes out as Armand does well. Looks to get the ball back to Westcard for Southport, but they overrun it. Guys, they defend it well. Ish. There's now Nicky Boschel. He's being pressured by Hewitt and caught in trouble, and the ball goes out for a throw.
It's very important. I'm pleased to hear that the Guiseley fans chanting we've had 2 shots. It suggests they're keeping their sense of humour. It's something I'm not particularly succeeding at this point with 5 minutes to go.
Well,
But-
it is a Southport throw, I believe, but nobody's in any hurry to take it, unsurprisingly, with 2-0 up when you've not won at home since January the 2nd.
How does Sinclair get an overhead kick in the penalty area and it
Inside the
bounces
6
back
yard
out
box.
into the arms of the goalkeeper? I mean, how many mirrors do we have to break?
Well, Southport have taken the throw-in and they've won another one.
Is that what that's what happened while they were upgrading the ground? They broke 7 mirrors, and that's it. Bad luck.
Throwing now for Andrew Jones. He throws it into the feet of Armand. 2 white shirts around him. Turns back. Finds Jones again. Norbone will look to put the pressure on, and he wins the throw-in for his side, which Danny Lowe is going to take. Oliver Norburn at the moment seems to be about the only player in a Guiseley shirt that's trying to act with some form of decency, but he receives the ball, gets closed down, has to send it back to Dan Atkinson, brings it to the edge of his 18-yard box. Emil Sinclair looks to get that. Defender heads it away though for Southport. Truth be told, Sinclair was offside then, but it didn't make it through to him anyway. Now Norburn. Craddock. Now Hatfield has it taken straight off his toe by Liam Nolan. Gary Jones now lifts the ball out to this right-hand side for Southport. Louis Armand gets inside the 18-yard box. He's been forced to go wide with it. Hatfield comes across. Somehow it still sticks to the feet of Louis Armand. Now Hewitt inside the 18-yard box. Lays it off to Gary Jones. Now Nolan. Southport content, really, just to keep possession. And who can blame them at this stage? Minute and a half of the 90 to go. And Southport with a 2-goal lead.
And
Now Norburn looks to switch it over to the right-hand side. Sinclair will chase it, but Whittle clears it away all the way through to Dan Atkinson.
And as if it's not depressing enough being at work on Easter Saturday, select homeware. They're depressed listening to us as well.
Ball flicked backwards by Andrew Jones, and now Tom Craddock can keep this in play on the left-hand side. Now Lowe. Thought about the first-time delivery. Perhaps the better bet. We haven't done that enough. Now Hatfield does lift it, looking for Sinclair. Sinclair jumps. And nothing happens. The ball just rolls through to John Frascosi, who's taking all the time in the world to try and pick that up, because that's what goalkeepers do when they're 2-0 up with a few seconds to go.
What's that like? Being 2-0 up with a few seconds to go. Seems like such a long time.
The poor run of form for Guiseley looks to continue as things stand. We will bring you up to date with all the other scores at full time. Bring you up to date with the full overview of how the bottom end of the table is looking after today's games.
You might want to make a cup of tea before we go through that table.
Ball forward now from Southport. 4 minutes of added time. It's very rare, but you look at 4 minutes and think, nah, it's too little too late. Now Sinclair, the ball was played forward in towards Emil Sinclair, who lifted his leg up, expected the ball to, I don't know, bounce up to it, and it just went straight under his foot and through to the goalkeeper. This has been one of the most frustrating games I think we've covered this season.
If not the most. My goodness. Well, the
Cheerful
Guiseley fans to our left today have literally not stopped singing.
They have
maintained their sense of humour in the face of what has been just a thoroughly, punishingly depressing performance from the Lions today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we can give full credit to 149 travelling Guiseley fans. They've been, as you say, in excellent voice.
And good humour.
They've had to be, because if they weren't, they'd all gone by now in tears.
And you try and look for positives, and Southport
played well.
Have played well. They've done the job. They've done what they came here to do. I don't know if it means they'll stay up. I mean, it certainly means they can breathe a little bit easier. they'll look at after this weekend now and think, well, we're almost there.
Guiseley in possession as Hatfield delivers the ball. Ollie Norburn goes down, and the referee, unsurprisingly, isn't giving that. 2 minutes to go. And just a small matter on Monday, just the 2 days to recover. Perhaps that'll be a great positive to Mark Barrett at the moment. No time to dwell on this defeat today, as the Lions welcome Chester to Nethermoor on Monday. The latest we heard there was that Chester were drawing 1 apiece with Barrow. We'll bring you all the scores from the Vanarama National League at full time. With Southport in possession, and Josh Thompson plays it very well for Southport. Now Rutherford looks to lift it through to Louis Armand. Rob Atkinson will just shield that out for a goal kick. I feel like we must apologise for being as quite depressive and miserable as we have been.
It's our stock in trade, Chris.
It's football's fault.
Well, it's becoming ever clearer to me now, Chris, that football hates us and wants to punish us at every available opportunity.
It's Hatfield. Now Smith. Back to Will Hatfield. He goes back to Jake Lawler. Now across to Nicky Boschel. His ball looking to find low. It's cut out by Stephen Hewitt. Throw in it is for Guiseley, midway inside the Southport half. Now Norburn looks to try and turn and get the better of Gary Jones. Jones does well. Knocks that out for a throw. Now Norburn to Boschel. Adam Smith can't get the touch he was looking for on that, and Southport clear it away. We enter the last 15 seconds of added time. Now Rutherford sends it left, finds Alex Whittle. Whittle with an early ball down that left-hand side to Craig Westcar. Back to Whittle. And there we go. Martin Coy blows the full-time whistle here at the Merseyrail Community Stadium. It's finished 2-0 to the home side. And that tells you really all you need to know. A gutless performance from Guiseley in the first half that didn't really get that much better in the second half. A lot of work to be done in very little time for Mark Bauer as Guiseley welcome Chester to Nethermoor on Monday. Dave, your final thoughts on that?
Well, Mark will probably put it a lot more eloquently than I, but I fail to see how he can be happy with any aspect of that performance. It was a slow start again, and how many times have we said that this season about the Lions? A very, very slow start, very sluggish, failed to close down. Southport, they scented blood and they took advantage. They had the opportunities, and when we did get ourselves back in that game, we didn't manage to take advantage of the few opportunities that did come our way, and individual errors have cost us dearly again.
And it's them two words, individual errors. The first goal, a mix-up from Rob Atkinson in particular. Everybody expecting to just nod it back to Dan Atkinson. Instead, he tries to nod it across to Danny Lowe, at the time his centre-half partner, who wasn't expecting it, was caught in possession. And the ball was finished well by Johnny Margetts. And then the second goal for Southport, Dan Atkinson. If ever there was that chance for Stephen Trench to consider he may get a chance back in the lineup, that's the first real error that Dan Atkinson's made, and it's been very, very costly. He came well off his line, very much to the left of the 18-yard box as Craig Westcar was bearing down the left-hand side. He tried to head back, got himself confused, quite honestly, was caught in no man's land and beaten by a good finish from Craig Westcar. But it's a very disappointing end to what has been a very disappointing performance from the Lions. We'll go through the full-time scores from elsewhere and let you know how the table looks now. It certainly looks a lot better if you're a Sound Grounders fan.
Thanks, Chris, for taking us through that well, let's call it a match. Let's call it a football game that happened today that unfortunately didn't go our way. A 2-0 defeat, and you hope that that's not going to be as costly as it certainly would appear to be at this point. The Guiseley fans, as ever, supporting their team throughout, vocally keeping singing. 149 of them came across the Pennines today to support their team, and it hasn't gone their way again. It's another dreary trip back to Nethermoor today. But let's have a little look at the other scorelines today. Let's see if anyone's done us any favours. Well, Halifax haven't. They went down to 10 men, but still beat Altrincham 1-0 in the lunchtime kickoff. Into injury time in 2 games at the moment. Chester 1, Barrow 2. That's actually good news for Guiseley for a change. Barrow winning, Chester losing, and Dover 5, Torquay 0. I'm sure our friends at the Crabble will be delighted with that scoreline and that short journey for them. Grimsby 1, Wrexham 0, Southport 2, Guiseley 0 here, and Woking 1, Kidderminster 1. So let's have a little look at the table then. From the bottom, 24th place, Kidderminster played 39 points 28. 23rd place, Welling played 40 points 29. 22nd place, Boreham Wood 39 and 37. Torquay, with that 5-0 defeat, dropped to 21st place into the relegation zone, back again, played 38 points 38. Altringham's defeat is played 38 points 38. Halifax played 37. They have 2 games in hand on the Lions now, and they have 40 points. Guiseley in 18th place, 39 and 41, hovering ominously above that Vanarama National League trapdoor. Chester's defeat leaves them with 39 played and just 43 points. We could skip into 17th place with victory at Nethermoor, but well, a lot of work for Mark Bauer to do here. A lot of work in a very short space of time. He has 48 hours roughly before we take on Chester at Nethermoor. We at Guiseley Radio will be there. We thank you for your time today, and we will see you on Easter Monday.